wear the rest of her life. She wants a world-class designer ring, handcrafted by a true artisan that will hold value and stand the test of time. She's found Tacori, Verragio, Ajafi, Simon G, among other premium American-made designers. But when you try and find these exclusive rings, you quickly realize most stores don't offer them. They have knockoffs and lookalikes, kind of like those imitation bags and watches on the streets of New York City. But there is one jeweler where you can find the real deal, Genesis Diamonds. Genesis has been chosen by all the most sought-after designers. Genesis is your exclusive home for these iconic brand names that define excellence. Other stores can only dream of being able to offer these, but only Genesis has them. So be careful. Don't settle for anything less than the ring she is worthy of wearing. Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
It's leap year, so jump into big savings at Gossett Kia on the Pike. New 2024 Kia Forte LXS gets 41 MPG, $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. How about 7-passenger seating? Get 2023 Kia Sorento LX, $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 2024 Kia Telluride LX, $459 a month, $34.99 due at signing. All 36-month lease, and don't forget, every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So call Bobby J to put you in a new Kia today. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online anytime at KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, Forte RE 722,812, MSRP 21,590, Sorento PG 242710, MSRP 33,010, Telluride RG 462,822, MSRP 38,705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/29/24 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah.
It's time to get up and get your day started.
Morant. Oh! A jawbreaker!
It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports 56 Mornings is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
They get up every morning from the long clocks, morning, taking 8:15 into the city.
All I can say is strap in. Get ready. Strap in for safety precautions because today is going to be a doozy. Welcome into Sports 56 Mornings as we wrap up the work week on this Friday, February 16th, 2024. Greg Gaston, producer Zach Boyd, Eli off with Ole Miss baseball. He returns on Tuesday. Probably a good thing he's not here after what we saw last night in Denton, Texas. Oh, boy, we got a lot to get to today. Tell you about the lineup in just a moment. We are in the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. Their floor model sale continues at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. And the first hour of the program is brought to you by our friends over at East Memphis Ace Hardware. It is currently 50 degrees. It is going to get up to 63 today, but the rains are coming. Starting to cloud up, thunderstorms in the forecast, and the chance of rain's at 90%. So we're going to get some precipitation with higher wind gusts possible. Tonight we're looking at a low of 30, so dipping under the freezing mark with rain showers this evening. The rain will taper off, so the white stuff not predicted, at least not with the forecast I'm looking at. But again, you hit 30 degrees. If there's precipitation, we know what that means. Could be a wintry mix. And then to get your Saturday going, partly cloudy with a high of only 40 degrees tomorrow. On the show today, as always, it's Friday. That means John Varlas will join us from the Daily Memphian at 7:25. He'll be in studio at 8:05. Joe Theismann, Super Bowl champion, former NFL MVP. We'll talk about his recent accolade, which was the announcement the other day from the AutoZone Liberty Bowl folks that Joe Theismann will be the 2024 Distinguished Citizen Award winner for 2024. So again, he'll be honored this year, and that'll be on June 2nd. We'll talk to Joe about that, but also I had Joe already scheduled because I wanted to talk to him about the Super Bowl and the wrap-up of the NFL season. Matt Dillon at 8:25 from Texas with the Tiger Basketball Report, and then Brandon Lang to wrap things up as well, the handicapper extraordinaire. We'll talk Super Bowl with him at 9:05. We do have 10 in a row scheduled today. So the game show that has swept the nation give you a chance to win a great prize package. And, of course, we'll be talking throughout the show about the Tigers and about the Grizzlies. One a positive, one a negative. Also, some other sporting events that are coming up this weekend. It's All-Star Weekend in the NBA. So that begins tonight with the Rising Stars event, which features Memphis' own Vince Williams. So certainly that will be fun just to watch with that Memphis flair to it. Vince Williams, a late addition, an injury substitution. Good to see Vince Williams will be involved in that. Vince Williams Jr., if you're scoring at home. And then, of course, the All-Star Saturday, all the great events, including Steph Curry going up against Sabrina Ionesco, who is a fabulous three-point shooter. We know Steph Curry is the greatest shooter to ever play the game. And I believe Sabrina is going to shoot from the NBA 3, if I'm not mistaken, unless she has a change of heart. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Of course, you got your dunk contest, you got your regular three-point competition, you got your skills competition, you have the celebrity game, and then the All-Star game on Sunday. You got the Great American Race Sunday, the Daytona 500. And before too long, you'll have the NFL Combine that'll be starting here later on this month. And pitchers and catchers have reported to their respective teams in Florida and Arizona as baseball is just around the corner. So I love this time of the year, not so much weather-wise, but as far as all the sports coming together. Sure, the NFL is over with, but before too long, the Memphis Showboats will be suiting up for the inaugural UFL season. But boy, oh boy, last night in Denton, Texas, the Memphis Tigers, who I said on the show yesterday, I don't bet Memphis sports, but if I was to bet, I was betting Memphis. They were 1.5-point underdogs, and I said, well, I guess they're giving the nod to North Texas because they're playing at home. They think it's an even game. They give them 1.5, but Vegas is good. For the most part, they're good. And that second slowest pace in the country, I just thought Memphis could quicken it and force them to turn the ball over. Instead, it was almost the opposite. Memphis trying to be fast, turning the ball over, especially early on in that game, turning the ball over time after time after time. They look terrible, and they have for the most part this year in transition basketball. There's just no semblance. They look like they don't know how to run a fast break. And then we get to the defense. And once again, the perimeter defense, that switching defense, that help defense, reared its ugly head. North Texas, a double-digit win over Memphis. The Tigers rallied back. They were down big early. They took a lead. You thought maybe once they took that lead, they would take control of the game. They lose 76-66, and for all intents and purposes, their at-large chances have gone down the drain. Tigers are now 18-7, 7-5 in the conference, sitting in 7th place with 6 games to go in the regular season. That's amazing. 6 games still to go in the regular season, and their at-large chances, I think, are done. Yeah, maybe if they go 6-0, beat Florida Atlantic twice, maybe they're back firmly on the bubble, close to being it. Maybe. Do you think that's going to happen? SMU is going to be extremely tough on Sunday in Dallas. You still have to play the aforementioned Owls of FAU twice. You still have to play Charlotte and UAB. These are teams that are ahead of Memphis in the standings. This soundbite right here, I'm not going to play a soundbite. I'm going to read you what the quote is from John Buggs III, one of the North Texas guards, saying this of Memphis. We knew Memphis was going to put 2 on the ball a lot. We expected it. We were prepared for it. Jason Edwards, who had a huge game, 30 points, hitting 7 of 9 from 3, which set a individual record for him. They also set a team record for threes, going 16 of 28, 57.1%. Edwards said, Mean Green head coach Ross Hodge. Have you guys ever heard of Ross Hodge before last night? He told the team not to get surprised when they get repeated wide open looks, But Edwards admitted it's hard not to get surprised when it happens. But guess what? You have a better chance to make a three-pointer when you are not guarded. And the confusion with that Memphis scatter, help, defense, whatever you want to call it, has been a problem all year long. They did better on the boards. That wasn't an issue. They scored in the paint. But they gave up open three after open three after open three. North Texas hit 16 triples. 16 triples. They were 16 of 28. Ball game. Memphis was 9 of 29 for 31%. The two stars for Memphis who have to have big games. They have to have big games to have a chance to win. And you need really output from a third or fourth guy, whether it's Tomlin, Walton. And actually, Walton did okay last night, going for 10 points. Nothing to write home about, but double digits. DJ and JQ combined for 5 of 23. Now, David Jones did get 16 rebounds, scored 14 because he got to the free throw line 8 times and made all free throws. He was 8 for 8. He made all of his free throws. He was 2 of 13. Javon Quinterly was 3 of 10. So when you combine the two stars for Memphis that have to be good every game, they played poorly, and the defense for Memphis on the perimeter was awful, that's going to be a loss every single time. It was a record night for North Texas in making threes. Memphis has made a lot of teams out there that are mediocre three-point shooting teams look really, really good. And when you go back to the quote that I just brought up, we knew they were doubling, so we knew we were going to get open threes. I don't understand for the life of me, Zach Boyd, how Penny has not gone strictly man-to-man defense. You guard your guy. If you can't guard your guy, we'll bring somebody in who can. Or, novel concept, mix in a little zone when teams are busting your you-know-what from the outside. Throw a little zone in there. They're stubborn. There's 3 reasons. It can only be one of these 3 reasons why it's not working defensively. And again, Penny hangs his hat on defense. 3 reasons. 1, the players aren't good enough. They're not talented enough. I don't think that's the truth. I think they're certainly talented enough. They're not intelligent enough. They can't comprehend. I can't imagine that's it. How the game plan is implemented, how it's talked about. There's no question that Penny goes over this over and over and over and over and over again. He said last night after the contest, we've heard this before, they didn't stick to the game plan. So are they comprehending what is being taught to them? That's what I think it is. I don't think they're not intelligent enough. I certainly think they're absolutely talented enough. Are they comprehending what is being taught to them? And when you see problems time and time again, as a coaching staff, you have to adjust to it, don't you? Play man-to-man defense. If your guy is busted by the other guy, get somebody else in there who can play. If not, play zone. It is mind-boggling. Zach, 6 games to go in the regular season. They're going to have to win the conference tournament to get to the NCAA tournament. It is hard to believe that this is where they are after the start they got off to and where they were just a month ago.
Yeah, and I've after what was the home win against Tulane, I was like, okay, cool. Like you got the big win, you won big at home. Like, let's go ahead, let's stack these wins up. Let's get something going, because at this point of the game, it's either you sink or swim. Like, I mean, you could have gotten away with a couple bad losses at the beginning of the year. I mean, it's not ideal, but you could have got away with a couple bad losses at the beginning of the year. But it's just the fact that they went through that non-conference slate and played so well against those, I guess, upper echelon teams that Penny scheduled on it.
Big names, but unfortunately it was name only because they didn't have substance. Those teams.
They played so well against them to the point where you got teams that are not as talented as you are just beating you, just straight up beating you. And so, like the only way they're going to secure their name into the tournament is they got to win the conference tournament. I said I remember talking to someone that if they continue to win out and maybe take a couple of losses, maybe to a SMU on the road or FAU either at home or on the road, if they make it to the conference championship game, I thought that was good enough for them to make it to the tournament with those 2 losses. But now since again you drop another game to another inferior opponent, it's like you got to win the whole thing now.
They are 7th in the AAC. They're tied with North Texas, but obviously North Texas gets the nod having beaten them last night. 7th in the American Conference at 7-5. And if you think there's not more losses on the horizon, you're mistaken. They got to play Florida Atlantic twice. I'm not saying they can't win, but come on, man. Come on. You got to stop beating your head into the wall and just doing the same thing over and over again. As far as cutting down on the rotation, again, he had played 10 guys in the first half and played 10 early, right? Your starters and 5 off the bench, and still no Jalen Young. You got to figure if he was in there, he'd play as well. Both Hardaways played. Jonathan Pierre played. Jordan Brown played. Of course, Malco came off the bench, and then he went big. So I don't know if it was frustration from Penny, throwing in guys, trying to find the right combination after the slow start they got out to. They battled back. They were down 3 at the half. David Jones hit that triple pumper, 3-pointer, bank shot at the buzzer to end the first half. They come out, again, sloppy to start the second half. Then North Texas makes the plays. North Texas, that slow-paced, turtle-paced team, actually were sped up at times and looked decent in doing so. They found the open man. Memphis's offense, no continuity to it. Too much one-on-one. Too much dribbling. David Jones, as I mentioned, 2 of 13. Javon Quinterly, 3 of 10. 22 of 59 as a team. It's bad stuff. Let's get some of your texts. My gosh.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Drew texts in, Penny has underachieved 5 of his 6 seasons. If this was a serious program, a change would be made. If they don't win an NCAA tournament game, and looks like they're not even going to make the NCAA tournament unless, of course, they get the AQ, that would be 1 win in 6 years. Keith, as bad as it hurts, it's time to be honest. This team is not very good at all. They got lucky early in the year, beat some pretty good teams, but now the truth is right in front of our eyes that you can't deny. And the point he makes about winning some of those games early against pretty good teams, those teams ended up not being pretty good. Tyler, if they don't make the turn, he says, let's see. Okay, let's be honest. The Tigers have to win the tournament to make the NCAA tournament. I agree. This team isn't winning out. I have a serious question. Does Penny deserve to be fired? What's your all thoughts? If they don't make the tournament, of course. Penny is going nowhere. He's not going to be fired. But next year, it puts a lot of pressure on Penny. It is a very tough situation for the front office when you're dealing with a guy as legendary as Penny is, who means so much to the program, who means so much to this community, has given not only his time, his sweat, his energy, he's given his money as well. I think in most programs, if they don't make the tournament, a move would be made. Not happening here. And I'm not saying it should, but if you don't make the tournament this year, you're on notice. I think certainly for next year, because that would be year number 7. And the teams that he's assembling will continue to be assembled the way they are. I still don't have an issue with that necessarily, because that's the way it is. And he can recruit and he can get those players, but it's finding the right combinations. You know, last year's team had 2 guys, and then the rest knew their roles. And those 2 guys were Davis and DeAndre Williams. And look, let's face it, they blew it. They should have beaten Florida Atlantic. Who knows what would have happened to them last year? Maybe they would have went on the run that Florida Atlantic went on. Maybe they wouldn't have. They blew it on a defensive breakdown. A defensive breakdown. Again, that's what Penny hangs his hat on, the defense. And the defense this year is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Raider Corey, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. I'm convinced that during his recruiting pitch, Penny promises these guys playing time no matter what. and I think he's fearful some guys will leave or transfer. In game adjustments, specifically on defense, there are problems. Also, just my opinion, to the madness of playing so many guys despite disrupting chemistry and continuity. Absolutely. There's no question about it. I think he does promise. He also promises, I don't know if he promises you're getting to the NBA, but we have the avenue to help get you there because we play more like a professional team, an NBA team, than we do a collegiate team. The quick substitutions, mind-boggling. There's no question about it. But it was beyond who was on the court last night. All you had to do was watch a little bit of that game, and you saw with their switching on defense when they double team that the communication is not apparent, and they're leaving guys wide open. But I don't know how they keep doing that. They keep, like I said, keep banging your head against the wall doing the same darn thing. Play strictly man-to-man. That's it, mano-a-mano. If your guy gets burnt, he's out of the game. You bring somebody else in who can play. And if that's not working, again, I'll whisper it. You can play zone. It's not wussy to play zone. Play zone if teams are busting your heinies from the outside. Again, North Texas set a record last night for threes. North Texas, 7th place in the American Conference. 7-5 is their record in conference play. Sunday at SMU. Line's not out yet on that game, but I got to think after the latest loss, where they were the underdog to North Texas, even though they beat SMU earlier in the year, remember that was one of Quinterly's game-winning three-pointers. They'll probably be, 4 to 5, 6-point favorite, SMU. Okay. We'll get back to the Tigers. We'll talk with Varlas about the Tigers. We'll get back to your texts. We'll get back to, we haven't gotten to the calls yet, but we'll get to that as well. Let me squeeze one more in that just got in here under the wire. Relying on the portal has been a disaster this year. That is not changing. That is not changing. That is going to continue to be a trend, I think, for a long time. Not just with Penny. There's a lot of schools that do that. Like I said, I don't have the problem with that necessarily, but you have to find the right players that are not egotistical, where they are more team-oriented, and that's tough. When you're getting top-tier talent, they want the ball. It goes back to Corey's text. They want the ball. They want the minutes. They want the shots. That's part of the problem. I still think it goes back to what I said. It can only be one of three. Are they not talented enough to guard, to defend? No, they're talented enough. Are they not smart enough to understand the concept? No, I think they're smart enough. I just think that maybe the concept is too complicated, that it's more NBA-oriented, that, remember, the whole Ted Williams syndrome. I don't understand why this guy can't hit 350, because they're not Ted Williams. I don't understand why you can't play like me, because you're not Penny Hardaway. Okay, so when you're teaching that, some guys comprehend it, some don't. And there's obviously bad chemistry. I'm not talking about guys not liking each other. I'm just talking, and that has even been an issue. But I'm talking about on the floor right now, last night in the game, it's not knowing what the other guy's going to do. Oh, we double, we left that guy open. Well, who's there to move over to guard him? Switching defense, help defense. Who's there? That's a problem. Real quick, and we'll talk more about the Grizz later, but how about the Grizz? How about the Grizz? Knocking off the Bucks. I thought Giannis wasn't going to play. I saw the injury report. It came out after the show yesterday. It had him listed as, like I said on the show, they're going to throw some illness up there. There was an illness/injury. I didn't think Giannis was playing. I don't know if somebody from Adam Silver's office got on the phone and said, this is a national TV game. He's playing. If not, he's not playing in the All-Star game. Whatever the case was, he played. So you had a Milwaukee Bucks lineup that had everybody in there but Middleton. Here's the Bucks starting lineup. Giannis, Jay Crowder, Brook Lopez, Malik Beasley, Damian Lillard. You had Bobby Portis and others coming off the bench, Patrick Beverley. Here was the Grizzlies starting lineup. Santi Aldama, Vince Williams, Trey Jemison, Zaire Williams, Jordan Goodwin. With guys like Jacob Gilyard, Yuta Watanabe, Lamar Stevens coming off the bench. Memphis wins. The Grizzlies win. Grizzlies playing harder than the Tigers. These Grizzlies who are on 10 days or 2 ways, just trying to make a name for themselves. And then you had Gigi Jackson again put together another great game. They have found a stud in Gigi Jackson, 19 years old, the youngest player in the league. He goes for 27 points. Zaire, up and down, up and down, up and down. He was up last night. He had 27 points. 18 points for Vince Williams to go along with 12 rebounds, 7 assists. These young puppies are playing hard. 2 straight wins to head to the break. They're not going anywhere. We understand that. It's only 20 wins. But by gosh, did they put on a show last night against Giannis and Lillard and beat the Bucks? Doc Rivers, I don't know what's going on with him, but he's losing a lot of games as the Bucks head coach. In any case, great night for the Grizzlies, horrible night for the Tigers. We'll talk more about that with John Varlas. We'll get to more of your texts and your phone calls as the show progresses. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Shop, compare, and save from hundreds of experts to turn your dream home into a reality. We have everything to help you remodel, refresh, and beautify your home inside and out. So come on out to the Home Show of the Mid-South, February 16th through the 18th at the Agri Center. You'll find special show pricing on kitchens, baths, patios and landscaping, flooring, cabinets, windows, roofing. It's all at the Home Show of the Mid-South, February 16th through the 18th at the Agri Center. For more info, visit memphishomeshow.com. That's memphishomeshow.com.
When the weather gets better, I found a new place to really soak it in. It's the patio at the Commissary in Collierville. We all love the delicious Memphis-style barbecues. You can begin your barbecue fest with some great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales or the barbecue nachos. Oh, those smoked chicken wings, they're terrific too. Then dig into the ribs or the barbecue shoulder. Get it chopped or pulled on a sandwich. A big sandwich, or you can get it on a plate. You've got choice. And you've got choice in places. Don't forget the Germantown Commissary as well. Comes with beans and slaw, deviled eggs they're famous for. And Brad, you can even order by the pound, a 6-pack or an 8-pack or even a 12-pack. The Boss Man salad, the chicken plate, the barbecue shrimp. There's something for everybody, and those great desserts. The best icebox lemon pie anywhere. Or my favorite, the banana pudding. Check out the patio, TVs for sports, and music on the weekends. You love the Commissary.
All 650 acquisition fee, Forte RE 722.812, MSRP 21,590, Sorrento PG 242710, MSRP 33,010, Telluride RG 462.822, MSRP 38,705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/29/24 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Hey, Jeff Allen, you ready to get this party started at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
You bet I am, Randy. Gossett's got your new Kia that gets 41 MPG highway. 2024 Kia Forte LXS, $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Need extra room? How about a 2023 Kia Sorrento LX at $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. And a 2024 Kia Telluride S all-wheel drive, $459 a month, $34.99 due at signing. All 36-month lease.
Plus, get peace of mind because with every Gossett Kia, you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or online, KiaMountMoriah.com.
Country music singer-songwriter Kylie Morgan absolutely loves her Genesis diamond ring.
I got so many compliments as soon as I got the ring and continue to get compliments on it because it looks really pretty on my finger.
Kylie's husband Jay heard folks in the music industry raving about Genesis, but he also did a lot of homework on his own.
When it came to finding the ring, he took it very seriously. He did all the research. I think he knows more about diamonds than any man in the entire world, and that's how he landed on Genesis. He just knew that they were the best.
Jay picked out a stunning, flawless, pear-shaped diamond in an elegant setting. Got the value price Genesis is known for. And now they both tell everyone they meet about the amazing Genesis experience.
When you walk into Genesis, you can just feel the happiness. You know that they're helping find something that symbolizes the love that you have for your partner. And you can feel that as soon as you walk through the door.
It's always been you, and I've always been your wife.
Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic. Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 7:28 is the time. We'll continue to read your texts on the Tigers' 10-point loss at North Texas last night. And again, for all intents and purposes, a chance at an at-large is probably down the drain, and it will take winning the American Conference Tournament title to get an AQ and get in the NCAA tournament. Meanwhile, the Grizzlies, with that limited roster, somehow beat a Milwaukee Bucks team with Giannis, with Lillard last night. Good for the Grizzlies as they continue to play hard in what has been a disastrous year, basically because of the health of the team. To talk about that, to talk about all things prep, it's time for John Varlas.
It's time for Greg and Eli's weekly visit with John Varlas of the Daily Memphian. Check out John's prep sports coverage and more at dailymemphian.com. Now, here's John Varlas with Greg and Eli.
He is the award-winning prep reporter for the Daily Memphian, but so much more. He's John Varlas. You can follow him on Twitter at John Varlas. He joins us every Friday. We got a lot to get to, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing good, Greg. How are you? How's Zach? How's everybody?
He's tired. I know he's tired. Yeah, he's more tired than I am.
Zach's a hard-working man. I did not quite realize the extent of his work until just now. But, yeah, Zach's a busy guy. He gets after it. So.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Zach, what would you, an engineer, is that what you are for the opposing teams that come in to play the Grizzlies?
Yeah, audio engineer for the opposing teams on Radio Row. So
sometimes it's a late night. Of course, last night was a fun night with the Bucks.
Oh, yeah.
Falling to the Grizzlies. But this guy is a trooper. Obviously,
back-to-backs are hard on everybody.
They're hard on everybody. They're hard on me. I went to both those games, and I didn't stay the full games. Of course, Savoy is enjoying himself in paradise.
that's just hilarious. But good. I mean, great for him, man. I mean, what a gig, huh?
Great gig.
You watch baseball in Hawaii of all things. I mean, goodness gracious.
If he doesn't send a Christmas present to David Kellum every year, something's wrong.
Yeah, David Kellum would normally be doing that, right? But he's got to do basketball.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I guess it was his choice.
Yeah.
But he wanted to do basketball because, Ole Miss is having a good year and they're right there and on the bubble. And, speaking of Ole Miss, obviously they knocked off Memphis in a game. Memphis was leading by 11 down in Oxford. And that was one certainly that you would love to have back, but that wasn't the backbreaker. Last night was the backbreaker. So we're going to get your thoughts. I'm going to continue to read texts on the Tigers. But first, as we always do, John, there has to be a bone you have to pick, right?
So many this week.
Can you limit the bones that need to be picked?
I mean, I have evergreen bones that I can pull out for any occasion, but the topical one tonight, and it's a bone with the Iowa Women's Basketball Administration or whoever was responsible for, I guess, the game operations last night. So I guess a lot of people probably know last night, Caitlin Clark, the great Iowa star, broke the all-time women's scoring record last night. She needed 8 points to break the record. Apparently, it took about 5 seconds to do that. She came out there like Reggie Miller against the Knicks and was just blazing away. And she broke the record in very rapid fashion. And I mean, it's a great accomplishment and something that especially for women's basketball, I think should be lauded and applauded and really, really recognized. But I guess where my bone comes in is they didn't even stop the game for this young lady. She makes this really nice, like a 35-foot three-pointer to break the record. The crowd goes nuts. She runs over to the scorer's table and gestures a little bit and pumps her fist and then runs back and gets in a defensive stand. And I'm like, you just broke the all-time women's scoring record. If it was a man, if it was somebody for Iowa that had broke Pistol Pete Maravich's all-time scoring record, I think they would have stopped the game for it. You stop the game, you hand her the ball, shake hands, take a couple of pictures, let everybody applaud her, let her teammates applaud her and hug her, and the other team salute her. It takes 2-3 minutes, and you get on with the game. Am I wrong about that?
Well, do they do that?
This is a huge event.
We see that a lot in professional sports. Do they do in college?
Well, but how often do we see somebody break the all-time record in college? I mean, it's not like it happens every day, so I don't know that we have a benchmark for like planning purposes.
No, but there are other records that are broken,
right,
NCAA records.
Okay, but
I mean, games
NCAA
played,
record?
this, that. I mean, there's probably records are meant to be broken, and over the years they've been broken.
Well, sure, but this is the record. Scoring points is the most important thing you can do in a basketball game, and she's done it more than anybody in the history.
Well, let me say this: I have it's Iowa. It was a home game. They should have done it.
And it wouldn't take more, like I said, it wouldn't take more than a couple of minutes. I'm sure Michigan, the opposing team, wouldn't have had an issue with it. In fact, I know they wouldn't have had an issue with it because it was revealed in the post game that they gave her a present. So Michigan certainly appreciates Caitlin Clark's greatness. The fans were there for the moment. I mean, just give the young lady her 2 or 3 minutes and get on with it.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be a 30-minute thing like it was with LeBron James. Now, that was a little much, I think. You stop the game and you haul out tables and red carpets and celebrities and videos. That's a little much. There's a good middle ground where I think they could have hit very easily last night and honored Caitlin Clark.
Well, I'm with you. Okay, so I'm just playing devil's advocate that I don't remember.
49 points, by the way, Greg Gaston, and 13 assists for this girl.
Well, she's incredible. As you said, she scores the first 8. She needed 8. She scores the first 8. She hits the one that broke the record from the logo. She's incredible.
Is she the most popular college basketball player, period, men or women, most recognized
right now?
Yeah,
she may be. Yeah,
she's got to be.
So. I think so. I mean, I got to think Bronny James might be more recognizable than her, but.
And he's more recognizable for who his dad is than anything he's
no
actually
question about
doing.
it. But the question was who's more recognizable.
Yeah.
This was Nancy Armour wrote this yesterday. She said, let's see, this is about Caitlin Clark. When you factor in the outsized impact she's having off the court, there's really been only one other player like her, Michael Jordan. And I texted, and I retweeted, and I made a comment, and I said, I'm going to have to digest that. Because I didn't have the time. I was going to bed. I got to think about this. When she says, like, what impact is Caitlin Clark making off the court? Is it like more little girls want to play basketball? I know she means a lot as far as the ticket sales. They wanted to see her break the record, and they were getting great crowds, so she did that. Michael Jordan, his impact as a national brand started when? Like when he was done school? When he was going to the pros, right? They had the big but the battle to get him, and Nike won.
Yeah.
It's a movie they just made in the last year or two. It was a great movie. So his impact didn't come while he was necessarily at North Carolina. Obviously, he made some great shots and won some huge games and made a name for himself. But off the court, he made a name for himself when he became a professional basketball player. Caitlin Clark's probably getting good NIL money, but is she really affecting everybody off the court? I would say no. I don't want to take anything away from this young lady. She's been absolutely incredible. But I got to think, on the court during their time in college, I mean, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird meant an awful lot to college basketball, and then obviously to the NBA once they went there. There's got to be others. I can't. No, that's Caitlin Clark, Michael Jordan, same sentence.
That sounds really in the moment from that writer. It really does, Greg. I mean, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, these women basketball players now that are so successful and so popular, they're the byproducts of the pioneers that came before them. They're, the Cheryl Swoops and the Cheryl Millers of the world,
right,
and even the Nancy Lieberman, these ladies walked. I mean, these ladies walked so that Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and these other young ladies now can run. I mean, so I don't know. You're right. I mean, I don't know that Caitlin Clark is bringing any more girls into basketball. I mean, high school basketball, it's already pretty popular is what I'm trying to say. There's already lots of girls that are playing basketball, and I don't know that they're getting into it necessarily because of Caitlin Clark. I think they're already there is what I'm trying to say.
I would argue, and I know she's not a player, but I would argue that Dawn Staley has more impact as far as women's basketball than Caitlin Clark. But I don't want to take anything away from Caitlin Clark. I don't want to. I don't want to
just
dwell too much.
Stop the game and take a few pictures. That's all I'm saying.
I'm with you. That's a good.
It's a once in a lifetime moment.
Yeah, I wonder. Again, Iowa was the home team, so I guess they could have had that already figured out before the game even tipped, that when she breaks the record, we're stopping the game. The officials knew it. The opposing team knew it, which was, Michigan? I mean, that should have happened, but it didn't. All right, what we know did happen last night was the Tigers fell flat on their face to North Texas. I want to read a few more texts. They keep coming in. 360-8255. That's 901-360-8255. Ken texts in. Penny is not a leader. His team does not respect him. He is a friend to them, not a coach. This is embarrassing. Stop playing your sons. Every time they get in the game, we lose the lead. This comes from the 901. I'm not a basketball guru, but isn't perimeter D the easiest or should be the easiest to teach and install? You would think so. Another texter. Penny needs to go, and we should make a strong offer to the next guy. 360-8255. I read a bunch of them in the first segment. John Varlas, I know you were bullish on the Tigers in the tournament not too long ago, and they have they came off. They got off the schneid. They ended the 4-game losing streak. They put together a 3-game winning streak, and now they lose at North Texas. 6 games to go in the regular season, including Sunday at SMU. 2 games against Florida Atlantic. Still have to play Charlotte. This team is in big time trouble.
Yeah, Greg, it's time to think about stuff. It really is. You know, when after the Tigers lost to Rice, you know, there was a segment of the fan base that was, you know, like the texters, like the text you just read, and then you have another segment of the fan base that's like, no, you know, Penny needs our support. He's our coach, he's our guy, he needs our support. Well, you know, Penny Hardaway is a grown man who's competed at basketball in the highest levels. He's coached basketballs at very high levels. He's super accomplished. You know, we don't need to treat this guy like he's a baby deer just learning how to walk. It's time to ask, you know, the serious questions and look at it. Not necessarily do they need to make a coaching change, because I agree with you, Greg. I don't think that's imminent, and I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know that necessarily needs to happen right now. But the questions we do need to start asking and looking at, I think, is why is this not working? Why do the same problems from year 1 still manifesting themselves at year 7? Why does it appear things are figured out? And based on the comments from the coaches and players, things apparently are figured out 2 weeks ago, and then 2 weeks later, you're gone back to the same problems. The same problems continue to manifest themselves over and over again. You know, I mean, last night it was coaching, man. You know, Ross Hodge, the North Texas State coach, outcoached Memphis last night. He did. You read the comments from their player, John Buggs. They knew exactly what he told them, exactly what was going to happen. He told them exactly what he was going to see for Memphis. His guys were ready. His guys were able to execute based on the coach. On their coach and the game plan they had in place for Memphis, and they won the game as a result with less talent and. They were missing 2 starters. Ross Hodge, I'd never heard of the guy. He's their coach. I mean, he did an excellent job. And to your point, here are some comments from Penny after the game. I'll take all of this because I didn't have my guys ready and prepared to play. Definitely a coaching error this game. I'll just have to do better next game. This was game number 25, by the way, this season. Now, another quote from him. This goes back to what I said in the first segment. You were listening. It was me, bro. I have to do a better job of explaining. I didn't do a good enough job of explaining about who they were and what was going to happen. That's why I said it's got to be one of 3 things as you prep for a game. I'm talking about defense now. Now, offensively, last night, that was an anomaly to see David Jones struggle the way he did. You're not going to win games when David Jones and Javon Quinterly combine for 5 of 23. That's all there is to it. But the point on defense I want to make is that when you are
implementing your defensive systems. It can only be one of three things when it fails. You don't have enough talent, which we know that's not true. They're not intelligent enough to comprehend. I don't think that's true. But you could complicate it where it is tough for them to understand, and that's on the coaches. And that goes to that quote I just read. We have to do a better job of explaining. But back to the texter who said perimeter defense should be the easiest. I don't get why they just don't play man. Don't trap. Stay with your man. If you get beat, bring in somebody else. If not, mix in a little zone when they're busting it. And they were busting it last night. North Texas set a record for three-pointers made, and they aren't the first opponent against Memphis that's done that this year.
Well, I mean, you know, everything you say, Greg, is true, and then I think, you know, too, it's the inconsistency with it's the inconsistency from the coach, which I think has a lot of the texters and probably a lot of Tiger Nation so frustrated today. You know, on the one hand, he says, "Yeah, it's on me. I didn't coach the guys well enough. You know, that's my fault." But then, you know, in the very next breath, there's also a quote from last night saying the guys didn't execute the game plan. So,
right.
I mean,
right.
So, what is it? It's, you know, 1 week it's, you know, we found our 7-8 guys that we're going to roll with. And then, you know, against North Texas, you're still seeing these odd lineup combinations, which, you know, lead to unproductive spells on the court. So, you know, if I'm a fan, yeah, I understand the frustration. It's maddening with these inconsistencies, and that's, you know, that's the larger point, Greg, I was trying to make. You know, why are these things still happening? Why aren't these things changing after 6 years with as you pointed out, one NCAA tournament victory? You know, you can excuse, you know, you can say, well, it was COVID, you know, James Wiseman got, you know, it's always something, but, you know, at the end of the day, the buck stops with the head coach at Memphis, just like it does at every other program, and just like it has with every other coach at the University of Memphis. It stopped with Larry Finch, it stopped with Dana Kirk, it stopped with Tick Price, Johnny Jones, Josh Pastner, Tubby Smith. The buck stops with the head coach, and ultimately that's, you know, that's the conversation I think that, you know, is going to probably need to be had at some point. I don't think that day is today, but, you know, that's something that, you know, is looming if things don't get better and if things don't start getting better like quick, fast, and in a hurry.
What's more maddening this year than in years past? And again, last year I thought they did a really good job. I thought he did a good coaching job. He didn't have the talent he had this year. He had two studs and everybody else knew their role. And they blew it on a last possession on a defensive failure, or who knows what would have happened in the tournament. They would have beaten Florida Atlantic. Florida Atlantic goes to the Final Four. Doesn't mean Memphis would have gone to the Final Four. This year, excuse me, they start out like gangbusters. They play what was a very good non-conference schedule. We didn't know, nobody knew that those teams would be bad. Let's face it, Michigan's bad, Arkansas's bad. They're bad. But Memphis, for the most part, other than that first half, that ugly first half against Villanova, they're winning games. They look good. The chemistry's there. The chemistry's there at the beginning of the year, which has been a problem, right? Under Penny, getting off to quick starts. They get off to the quick start. And everybody's thinking, wow, maybe it'll be a 1 seed or a 2 seed or a 3 seed. And then they get to the conference, and first we start to hear about the name on the front of the jersey versus the name on the back of the jersey. In other words, you can't take any of these teams for granted. Well, I don't know if every loss now you can chalk up to being, well, we took them for granted. No, you got beat. North Texas beat you by 10 points last night. So that's a problem. All right, if you take a couple teams early in your conference schedule for granted and maybe lose a game, okay, that's not the end of the world. Then you fix it. You blew a 20-point lead to South Florida. The Rice loss was absolutely crippling. Then you seem to have found it and got it back in that second, well, at least last 8 minutes against Wichita State. You go to Temple, have a huge lead, give up the lead. You don't give up the lead, but they get it down to 7, but you win. Never in jeopardy was the game on Sunday against Tulane. They found it, right? Looks like they found it. And then they turn around and they go to North Texas. And the reason why I thought Memphis would win, they were without 2 starters. They play a slow pace. I thought Memphis would be able to dictate pace. But then when you watch the Tigers, especially in that first half, running up and down the court, out of control, bad passes, dribbling off legs, they're giving North Texas opportunities. And what does North Texas do? They go down there, they get doubled up, They find the open guy because they're not holding on the ball and dribbling, which Memphis does a lot. They find the open guy. He has an open three, and he knocks it down, and they knock down 16 of them.
Coaching. Last night it was so much. It was an organizational win for North Texas last night. Their players played better. Their coaches coached better, and that's the result you get, Greg. You know, the young man said it. They knew everything that Memphis was going to do, and you know, if they knew that, you know, the question comes back to, well, why doesn't Memphis adjust in that situation? You know, could they even adjust? I mean, it's a bad loss, but I mean, when you lose to Rice, I mean, you know, anything's possible with this team. You know, this team has shown the potential that they could, you know, maybe beat anybody in the country, but you know, if things aren't working, which a lot of nights they haven't worked, I mean, they've got the potential to lose to a lot of teams as well, and I think that's just where we are.
There hasn't been too many teams that I've seen this year more Jekyll and Hyde than the Tigers.
Yeah.
We'll get more from John Varlas in our final moments of hour number one. I want to tell you folks about our great sponsor, All-Star Chevrolet. If you're ready for a new Silverado, All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch has financing down to 2.9 for 72 months or up to $5,000 cash. Plus, you make no payments for 90 days, and your good credit deserves it. It's still Love Month, right? It's February, Valentine's Day just a few days ago, and we're loving all these new Silverados, the Equinox, the Trailblazers, the Tahoes. You're going to love seeing this All-Star lot filled up, the showroom filled up, loaded again with all these cars. You want pre-owned? Everything you want is here. Ram trucks, Jeeps, Nissan Rogue, the Traverse with the third row seating so you can do more together as a family. Drive the highways and byways of this country in luxury. Military, teachers, college students, healthcare, you get an extra $500 bonus at All-Star Chevrolet. And at All-Star Chevrolet, they have everything you're looking for, and if it's not there, just ask Kevin or Jeff. They'll find it for you. Remember, it's not South Haven, not Mount Moriah, not Bartlett or Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch. Come out and check out the folks and great vehicles at All-Star Chevy. They will help you. They will treat you like family. Go to allstarautogroup.com to find out more about them as well. It's All-Star Chevrolet. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova.
The President's Day weekend sale is here at Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. Don't miss incredible deals like 20% off used clubs, 30% off select apparel, and get custom fit on the new TaylorMade QI10 drivers. Book your free custom fitting online today. Swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf for the President's Day weekend sale, or shop us online at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
Join us celebrating 26 years of Napa Cafe. Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I'm inviting you over for dinner. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner of scrumptious combinations, fresh salads, homemade soups, or maybe start with an appetizer, like our baked Dungeness crab dip with manchego cheese, lemon, garlic, and French baguette toast. Drift into one of our fresh seafood dishes, like the caramelized sea scallops with curry beurre blanc, black forbidden rice, and Thai mango salad. Or our ancho honey glazed salmon with creamy black bean puree, avocado pico de gallo, and jalapeno crema. Maybe you're looking for something cozy and comforting, like our Duroc pork chop with apple brandy demi-glaze and blue cheese bacon mashed potatoes. We have something for everyone. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us as we celebrate 26 years of Napa Cafe. I'd sure love to see you.
Memphis basketball is working towards March with two big home games coming up. It's a blackout, with the first 3,000 fans receiving a free black t-shirt for the game against Charlotte on Wednesday, February 21st at 7 o'clock. And then a big-time matchup for revenge against Florida Atlantic on Sunday, February 25th at 1 o'clock for the Stripe Out. Limited tickets remain for the Florida Atlantic game. Purchase your tickets at gotigersgo.com/tickets.
Hour number one of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you each and every day by the great folks over at East Memphis Ace Hardware. You've got a project to do around the house. One place to go. East Memphis Ace Hardware. They've got every supply you need. Maybe it's some of those Benjamin Moore paints. Maybe it's some tools. Maybe it's the paint brushes, paint rollers, those types of things. Maybe you need the hammer, the saw, the drill, whatever it is, for whatever project you need to get done. Nuts, bolts, screws, all of that stuff. Everything you need. East Memphis Ace Hardware has that. Plus, they're a platinum dealer of the Big Green Egg. All the eggs, all the accessories, other grills, their key fobs. Save you a lot of money over the dealership, I'll tell you that much. All of these things, you'll find everything you need over at East Memphis Ace Hardware, and they've got a great staff to help you find exactly whatever it is that you need. They'll help you find it right there in the store. Again, corner of White Station and Quince, that's where you'll find them. That's where you're going to find everything you need, and a great staff to help you find it. East Memphis Ace Hardware.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Joe Theismann coming up at 8:05. We'll talk more Tigers at 8:25 with Matt Dillon, the Tiger basketball report. Matt will be joining us from Texas. David texts in, and keep those texts coming, 901-360-8255. The off-the-court stuff is a sideshow under Penny. Jordan Brown, Mikey Williams, press conferences, the list goes on. On-court product is woeful. Let's be honest, he deserves to be fired, but he's a Memphis legend. He's Penny Hardaway, which makes it tough. Do you think that, and again, nothing's happening after this year. It's not, and hopefully they can win the tournament. Right now, it doesn't look like they can. I'm talking about the conference tournament and get into the NCAA tournament. And then we could back off a little bit. But do you think that they are possibly going down that Larry Finch road, the way it ended? I'm not saying the same way it ended, but things started to fade a little bit. Larry stopped getting the big-time recruits. Penny, that's not an issue.
Not yet. I mean, that's the thing, Greg. Not yet. I mean, and things are so much different now with the transfer portal. So in a way that, kind of makes it a little bit easier to recruit because there's a whole big wider pool of good players to choose from than it used to be in Larry Finch's day. But, if that starts drying up, who knows what's going to happen? What's next year's team going to look like? You got to think about that too. Here's the thing, Greg, when you bring in a Penny Hardaway to run your program, there's only one way that it can end to everybody's satisfaction, and that's with winning a national championship. That's the storybook ending. Anything short of that is going to be viewed as disappointing, not successful, and it could still be really, really good. But you just when you bring in a Penny Hardaway, you're just setting the bar so high, and it's actually only, there's actually only one thing that you can get to that's going to satisfy everyone in that situation. There's only one way you can have the happy ending with that. Everything else for that is going to be looked at as a disappointment, and it's just so hard to win a national championship. So you make a really good point. What will this look like? Will it end in recriminations and hurt feelings and disappointment? Because you got to look at this too, Greg. Not only is Penny Hardaway the basketball coach, he's an ambassador for the university. He's the, kind of one of the public face, probably the public face of the university for a large segment of. Plus,
he's given his money. He's taken less. He's given his own money.
There you go. I don't want to make it sound like Penny Hardaway's got Memphis, over a barrel. He's holding them hostage with the job. It's not anything like that. But it just makes it a very, very
tough,
difficult situation where to where it was Joe Smith from Fresno coaching the team. You say, look, Joe, we're not getting it done, buddy. We're going to move on. That's easy.
Well,
this makes it a lot harder.
You just heard yesterday the AD at Michigan, Manuel, who basically gave the old backing of what's his name, Juwan Howard.
Yeah.
They're awful. I mean, absolutely god awful.
Yeah.
And Howard, so I'm sure it's a similar situation. It was for a while before Georgetown finally had to say that's it with Pat Ewing. Memphis has not been in that situation that Georgetown was for all those years under Pat Ewing because they've won a bunch of games.
Yeah.
Michigan was pretty good to start with Howard. They faded. It was a bad year, so I understand. I wouldn't fire Juwan Howard, not after one bad year, but if it starts to be a trend, then you have to really seriously consider a move, which is tough when it's a native son, when it's a guy who starred at that school.
And then you look at the standards that were applied to Tubby Smith. You know, at some point, does the money flow start drying up a little bit? Does the attendance start drying up with? You know, that's where.
Well, it's not like the attendance has been great, but it's a lot better than when it was with Tubby. And Tubby, and look, he's a Hall of Fame coach, but he wouldn't get off his butt to go out there in the community.
That's not the point I'm trying to make. What the point I'm trying to make is if these things start happening, the things that hastened his departure, if they start to happen now with Coach Hardaway, you know, then what do you do if you start seeing these same, you know, if the cracks really start to form and get bigger and bigger and bigger?
And this also, I know we're out of time, this compounds the problem. Cincinnati, Houston, most importantly, but Cincinnati's been good this year. UCF's even an improved basketball team. Look at them in the Big 12. Big 12 is good, top to bottom. Those teams are gone. It looked like it was going to be a breeze. It was going to be Memphis and Florida Atlantic and Memphis. The two, they're battling. You come up short to Florida Atlantic. Okay, you understand. They're sitting in 7th place right now. So that's where it is. We'll continue to talk about it as the show progresses. John, we'll get back into the prep talk next Friday. I know things are starting to heat up with the playoffs, the postseason, and basketball, spring sports right around the corner. Great stuff as always from you.
Thank you. I guess what we learned from this conversation, Greg, is nothing is ever easy in the 901, is it?
It's not.
It's a hard life out here.
Yeah, last night I would have lost my house because I would have bet Memphis Tigers and would never have bet the Memphis Grizzlies, who were 14.5-point dogs, and beat Milwaukee.
Well, there's only one GG as far as I'm concerned, and that's you, Greg Gaston.
Thank you, John. He's John Varlas, the award-winning prep reporter from the Daily Memphian, but so much more. You can follow him on Twitter at John Varlas. When we come back, we open up hour 2 with Joe Theismann, then get back into Tigers talk. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hey, this is Eli Savoy, and I've got a question for you. Who wants to pay full retail for a pre-owned car or truck when you can buy it at wholesale? Wholesale Unlimited on Pleasant View, right off Covington Pike, has an unlimited selection of super sharp pre-owned cars and trucks you can buy at the wholesale price. And right now, you can use your tax refund as all or part of a down payment and still just pay the wholesale price. Chevy Silverados, F-150s and Ram trucks, Tahoes, Explorers, Jeep Wranglers, Grand Cherokees, Renegades, a Cadillac SRX, Camaros, Mustang convertible, Hyundais. Check it out. Go to wucars.com or Google Wholesale Unlimited Memphis. This is great. Your money goes a long way when you can buy at the wholesale price, and tax refund time makes it even better. Go to Wholesale Unlimited on Pleasant View, just off Covington Pike, with guaranteed approval. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports 56, and you can thank me later.
We don't know who you are. If you're looking for dinner, we don't have any. But at Sunrise, we do have a particular set of skills. Skills we have acquired over the last several years. Skills that will make someone like you breakfast or lunch. If you come to Sunrise for breakfast or lunch, that will be the end of it. But if not, we will look for you. We will find you. And if you want bacon, we will grill it for you.
I negotiate for a living. I negotiate contracts.
Even though Melanie McMeekin had been loyal to a local jewelry store for over 10 years, when it came time to upgrade her engagement ring, she decided to let her jeweler compete with Genesis Diamonds.
So if I went in with the same ring specifications to both places, what were they going to bring back to me? That's what I was interested in.
Guess what? It was no contest. Genesis beat the other jeweler hands down.
I did get a higher quality diamond for significantly less money. It was about an $8,000 difference.
So less money and higher quality.
Both things made it very compelling for us to switch and go with Genesis. I'm definitely glad I shopped around, and my husband is extremely glad I shopped around.
Have you made the switch to Genesis?
You can get into where you go back to the same place over and over again, but when you start thinking about your money, it becomes pretty important.
Genesis Diamonds, Memphis's direct diamond importer.
Make sure that you put Genesis on your list. I hadn't done that in the past, and I wish I would have done it sooner.
At Poplar and Perkins Extended.
They're taking care of beerness in Memphis right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo. And if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called Godhopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Burst pipes can be real headaches, especially with the increasing deep freezes. But don't worry, Choate's has solutions by winterizing your home's plumbing pipes. Our smart water monitor and shutoff system detects leaks and can automatically shut off your water to prevent even bigger leaks. We guarantee your outside faucet won't ever freeze with our Freeze Miser upgrade. And don't forget about heat tape we can install for drains and water pipes, keeping them from freezing down to -40 degrees. Concerned about water quality? The Halo Whole Home Water Filtration System filters out pollutants, ensuring clean showers and pure drinking water for your family. For a free estimate on safeguarding your plumbing system or filtrating your water, give Choates a call at 347-8086. And remember, Choates, let our family serve your family.
This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Building. They keep you moving.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. It's really starting to get heavy again over here on 40 westbound. As you come past Sycamore View Road, getting up on that 240 flyover, some of that traffic is getting off onto Sam Cooper. There's a couple of accidents out here. They're clearing stages. Just give yourself extra travel time. Plenty of radar this morning on I-40 coming in from Fayette County as you head towards Shelby County. 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in Memphis. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. Online at tomahawkcrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Diamonds are forever. Woo!
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:05 the time. Joe Theismann joins us in just a moment. Greg Gaston, Zach Boyd. Eli is off. They'll be back on Tuesday. We are in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. Currently 50 degrees. We're looking at a high today of 63, but it's clouding up and the rains are coming. In fact, thunderstorms in the forecast. About a 90% chance of precipitation with high winds and gusts possible. Tonight, down to 30 with a chance for some rain showers into the overnight hours. Tomorrow we're looking at a 52-degree high. 40-degree high for tomorrow, 52-degree high for Sunday, so a pretty cold weekend here in Memphis. I'll get to the James Gaddis Jewelers Memphis Sports Fact a little bit later on in the hour. We'll talk more Memphis Tigers basketball after that loss last night at North Texas with the Tiger Basketball Report and Matt Dillon. But right now, it is time to talk to our friend Joe Theismann, the Super Bowl champion, former NFL Most Valuable Player, college All-American at Notre Dame, and now another award. Joe, you're still winning awards, my friend. How are you?
I'm good, Greg. Thank you very much.
You can follow Joe on Twitter at Theismann7. Joe, if you missed it just a couple of days ago, it was announced by the AutoZone Liberty Bowl folks, Steve Earhart, Harold Grader, and the gang, that Joe is the recipient of this year's AutoZone Liberty Bowl Distinguished Citizen Award. He will be honored on June 2nd. Congratulations, Joe.
Thank you so much. I mean, Greg, first of all, it's good to catch up. And Zach, nice talking to you, too. It's just it's humbling and just an incredible honor when you look at the people that have received this award before. It just makes you, appreciate all the things that the good Lord has given us in our lives and the opportunity to be able to, to be able to do things for others. I mean, I'm 100% convinced. It took me a while to figure it out, but that we're put on this earth to serve others, not to be served, and I appreciate the award tremendously.
Well said, Joe. Like myself, we are transplants. Although you're not a full-time Memphian, you are at least a part-time Memphian. And for those who don't know that, that's Joe's been here a long time, in and out of Memphis, and calls this certainly home at least part of the year. So that's very, very important to you to be a local, if you will, and to be honored by a local event like the AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
It is, and it's appreciated. And really, the most important thing to me is the fact that St. Jude is the beneficiary of all the money that's going to be raised. And, I hope people come out. St. Jude just does such an incredible job. I've had the opportunity to be at the hospital, to walk around, to see everybody, the nurses, the staff, the doctors, the researchers, the patients, the families. It's just the most incredible place on this earth. It really is. And I mean, if your family is free of cancer, God bless you. But if you do need a place for someone to be taken care of, St. Jude, you want it to be there. And that's why the donations are so important. That's why the ticket sales are so important, to be able to raise money so that the research can continue. They've reduced childhood cancer tremendously, and we still have a long way to go, but we're making this into a real fight.
Absolutely. I've had you on the show many, many times, and I don't think I've ever asked you about your motivational speeches. You are on the road an awful lot. You're on the road just the last few days, speaking to different corporate outings and things of that nature. What is your main message, Joe, when you speak to these groups?
Well, Greg, after we won the championship in 1982, I had an opportunity to get invited to different functions, and I just didn't want to talk about football. And I sort of looked at life and the business I was in, and I came up with a program when it came to business, athletics, and our own lives, and created a synergy that carries over to each area. And I wrote a book called How to Be a Champion Every Day. And in the book, I talk about having to have goals and needing the right kind of attitude, and taking care of people relationships, and being a part of a team. If you're a family member, you're a part of a team. Mm-hmm. And then how do we all get motivated to do the things in our lives? Everybody is different. I think we have to acknowledge everybody as being different. But those 5 areas are really areas that I concentrate on. And we tell some stories. I talk about my record-setting 1-yard punt against the Chicago Bears, and some of the other things that have happened in my life that have been interesting.
This is a generalization, but I'm just asking for your opinion. Do you think that overall athletes today are more concerned with individual accolades than they are with the team and the team's success?
Not necessarily. I think it's a sort of a generality that people assume. The guys today want to win. I mean, they really do, and young ladies as well. I mean, anybody that's participating on an athletic team, men and women, I really believe that they want to win. It's just now that you're so caught up in this world of social media and self-promotion that it's hard to avoid. I mean, it's very difficult for people to separate one from the other. It's but look at every time somebody makes a tackle, they point at their back with their name, or somebody scores a touchdown, they make the flex. I'm excited to watch athletics and just see if somebody's just going to make a tackle and get up and go back to the huddle, or somebody's going to make a catch and just go back to the huddle.
Right.
Everybody's into this self-promotion. It doesn't mean you don't want to win. They want to win, but hey, the best way to self-promote yourself is to win,
Mm-hmm.
to be part of a championship football team. You don't have to walk around and tell people how good you are. They'll see it. And that's another thing, too, that's interesting is everybody wants to tell everybody what they are. Why not just do it, and then people will talk about you instead of you talking about you.
And one guy who was doing it, and people were talking about him, and he's kind of has an old school soul, and that, of course, is Pat Mahomes. Another Super Bowl for the Chiefs, another Super Bowl for this guy who is 28, I believe, now 3 Super Bowls in 5 years. Joe, as a former quarterback, your assessment, I already have him number 2 on my all-time list behind Brady. What do you think of Mahomes and the team winning another Super Bowl?
Well, I think it's unbelievable. And, none of these games have been easy. Every game has been a struggle. They've come back in all the games, and Patrick is certainly part of the reason why. I mean, guys making plays on the defensive side. I thought their defense played great this year down the stretch.
Mm-hmm.
And when the receivers decided to hold on to the football, it became an offense that was difficult to stop. But everybody talks about Patrick and Tom, but they forget Troy Aikman has 3 world championships.
He does.
Terry Bradshaw has 4. Joe Montana has 4 world championships. So before we anoint Patrick in that rarefied air, which is where he is, by the way, there are other people that have been there as well. So I don't think you can talk about the greats in this game without mentioning Troy, without mentioning Joe. Of course, Tom as well has 7 world championships.
I mention Johnny U all the time.
And John Unitas. Well, here's one for you. Let me see. Otto Graham. How many championships do you think he has in Cleveland? Take a guess.
I had 3.
Okay, how about 9?
Get out of here.
Yeah, 9 championships.
Oh, my
Otto
gosh.
Graham. Now, I mentioned the name Otto Graham, and a young person looks at me like I have 3 eyes or 5 heads. It's like, what are you talking about, sir? I said, just Google it. Just, my answer to any young person that doesn't, really understand sort of older football, I said, just Google it. It's amazing what you can learn on Google. I mean, really interesting information. And so, to me, I think, Patrick certainly is the best. I think he's the best in the league right now going away. But before we want to put him next to Tom because it's the most current thing that we're thinking about. But there are others that have been there as well. And there are other teams that have been there as well.
Well, let me say this, Joe. You and I should sit down, have a beer, and have a great conversation about this because I'm an old guy. I'm 62, and I've seen. I wasn't around for Otto Graham. I'll be honest with you, but I've seen a lot of these great quarterbacks, and a lot has to take into consideration. I'm not sure if was the NFL totally integrated when Graham was doing this thing. I mean, there's a lot of things, and then also just what Patrick Mahomes can make out of crap, right? It was a chicken and chicken, you know what? He's able to keep plays alive, those type of things.
Yeah.
Who's on the team? Now, he's got some good players, right? Kelsey's going to the Hall of Fame. Joe Montana had some pretty darn good players. Joe Montana, to me, with Peyton Manning, with Troy Aikman, those guys, Elway, they're all right behind. But, yeah, it's close, but I am ready to anoint him number 2 because I think what he has done, and it's not always the numbers, 3 compared to 4 compared to 7, but in this case, 3 to me with what he's been able to do and how he does it, to me, thinks, Aikman was great, but he had Emmitt Smith, he had Michael Irvin. They had some pretty good players as well. So I take that into consideration as well. I don't just throw him in there because he's the hot thing. I really think about these things when I come up with my list.
I listen. You make very valid points, Greg. I mean, you certainly present a case for Patrick to be there, as I do too. I think but I'm saying it isn't just the 2 of them. What I'm basically saying is you have to take into consideration others. And the quarterback position is the single most dependent position on the field. Patrick had a heck of a year that no one could acknowledge because the guys couldn't hold on to the football. Then you get into this playoff run. And the guys are hanging on to the football. You see Kelsey dive in to make catches.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas earlier in the year, Trav put a few on the ground. So, that's what I'm saying is the dependency factor is there. But there's no question that Patrick stands above the fray. I mean, he's exceptional. And you can't separate the quarterback from the coordinator. I mean,
right.
Andy Reid,
gosh.
look at Andy. I mean, my gosh, who doesn't want to hug him? He's just like a little old bear, a big bear. And you just want to wrap your arms around him and say, you're unbelievable. And he is. And, we text about every week, and I just tell him how great he is. That's all I can tell you.
But
I mean, As a matter of fact, I thought we had two of the best play callers. Bar decisions that were made in the Super Bowl, people get it, but two of the best play callers in football.
By the way, Joe Theismann was a hell of a quarterback too, ladies and gentlemen. Look him up if you're young out there and you don't know what we're talking about here. By the way, Joe, since you brought it up, when you were playing in the league and you had a game or games where your receivers were dropping some passes, what was the reaction from you to them?
I'd say, I'll throw the ball better. I'd take it on my shoulders. Don't worry about it. I know you're going to make a great one for me. Let me tell you, every receiver that puts the ball on the ground through the course of a season, they're going to make some great catches.
Sure.
So it all balances out. Life balances out that way. And by the way, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't send our prayers and thoughts out to those people who were at the celebration in Kansas City. I believe it was a mother that was killed and those children that were hurt. Our hearts go out to them and our prayers go out to them.
Absolutely, Joe. Absolutely. All right, so in the game itself, they go to overtime, nearly go to double overtime. It's hindsight now, but people have been kind of getting on Shanahan's case that he made the wrong move, taking the ball first. What are your thoughts about that, the overtime rules? And then you had players from the 49ers admitting they didn't know the rule.
Well, if I can understand a player not knowing the rule because you're just going to go play. The staff understands it. I don't have a problem with him taking the ball. Are you going to defer and give the ball to Patrick Mahomes in the hopes that you're going to be able to go score? Why not go score now and put the pressure on Kansas City to try and do what they need to do?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with that decision. Everybody seems to be jumping on Kyle for that decision. He took Dan Campbell off the hot seat.
He did, didn't he?
He literally, as a matter of fact, he pushed him off the stove, to be honest with you, because it was the Super Bowl. And I don't have a problem with the decision. Hey, you put faith in your offense. You put faith in your players, and then you put faith in your defense to be able to stop them so that you can win the world championship. I don't have a problem with that decision at all.
Before we let you go, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about the Commanders, of course, the former Redskins. What do you think they're going to? Do you think that they're fine with Howell? Do you think they're going to go quarterback in the draft?
I think from a perception standpoint of where they're going, new general manager, new head coach, new coordinators, new ownership, it's almost like the city, the fans of the Commanders are waiting for a quarterback to be drafted. Sam struggled down the stretch last year. Not to say that any young quarterback won't. He was basically a rookie at that position and had very little support up front. He got the living daylights beat out of him. Either the most sacks or second most sacks in the league last year. That doesn't count the amount of times he's been hit.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the Commanders are expecting a quarterback to be drafted, and I would be surprised if there isn't one. Now they may trade out of that second spot, move up to one to get who they want. Remember, Cliff Kingsbury was at USC last year, the new offensive coordinator, and Caleb Williams was the quarterback there. Now I think every one of them has room to grow in this game. They're going to have to grow in this game. And just to put that in perspective, I had a conversation with, I talk to Tom every now and then, Brady, and he said, hey, every day you got to learn. Every day is a learning experience. And it's 23 years of experience there.
Right.
Peyton's the same way. You just, every day you have to get better at your trade and your profession. And so young guys start from a long way back. If Caleb is taken, he has an idea of what Cliff is thinking, so he's a little bit ahead of the curve. That's the way I look at it, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But I think the fans are expecting a quarterback, and I'd be surprised if they don't go that direction.
I'll tell you how long I've been around, Joe. I covered Dan Quinn when he was a football player at Salisbury State when I worked in television on the Eastern Shore of Maryland. He's been on the show several times, remembers that very, very well. But that's how old I am. And now the coach of Washington.
Well, he's been a Super Bowl champion.
Yes, he has. He has.
You look at the job he's done different places. So I'm excited for Dan. I'm excited for our football team and see the direction we're going in.
We are excited for you, the 2024 AutoZone Liberty Bowl Distinguished Citizen Award winner. He is Joe Theismann. That honor will take place on June 2nd. Make sure to follow Joe on Twitter at Theismann7. Joe, always great catching up with you. Congratulations once again.
Thanks, Greg. Take care.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Always good stuff from Joe Theismann. Always good stuff at Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration. They've been with us for years and years now. Locally owned and operated company, roofing company. Call Brandon McCulley. He's the owner of the company at 901-438-5084. That's 901-438-5084 if you need a roof repaired or if you need a new roof. They offer financing with different plans and options to choose from, including a 6-12, even an 18-month same as cash option. They'll work with your insurance company or out of pocket. Your insurance company can't tell you what company to use. That is your call, and I would suggest Pinnacle. Pinnacle is part of the Roofs for Troops program. Any veteran, active or retired, you get a $250 rebate on the purchase of a new roof. They do residential and commercial roofing. So business owners listening to the show, property managers, obviously homeowners, if you have a leak or any other roofing problem, call Brandon today. They'll come out and do a free roof inspection. They're licensed, bonded, and insured, and they're a member of the Better Business Bureau. You get a 5-year labor warranty on the purchase of a new roof. All their work, satisfaction guaranteed. That includes carpentry work. They can install shingles, exterior painting. They can replace gutters, put up fencing and siding, rotten wood repair. Whatever you can't do yourself, call the experts. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration, quality work at a very reasonable price. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration, 901-438-5084. Call Brandon, tell him you heard it here on Sports 56 Mornings, or go online to newroofmemphis.com. When we come back, it's more Tigers talk with Matt Dillon. The Tiger Basketball Report is next. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
If you love sports and Mexican food, you can get the best of both at Los Cabos Mexican Bar and Grill on Summer near Graham. Watch all the big games on all the big TVs on all the walls at Los Cabos. And enjoy premium tequila shots anytime for just $5.50. Celebrate every day with lunch specials from 10 to 3 and happy hour from 3 to 8. Lunch is just $6.75 to $10.99 and margaritas start at $3.99. Experience real Mexican cuisine along with great sports at Los Cabos on Summer near Graham.
The President's Day weekend sale is here at Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. Don't miss incredible deals like 20% off used clubs, 30% off select apparel, and get custom fit on the new TaylorMade QI10 drivers. Book your free custom fitting online today. Swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf for the President's Day weekend sale, or shop us online at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
Join the Heindel Center for the Performing Arts for an evening with Cal Ripken Jr., February 22nd, and celebrate a true champion. Ironman Cal Ripken Jr. played 2,632 consecutive games for the Baltimore Orioles. This 19-time All-Star, 2-time American League MVP, and Baseball Hall of Fame inductee is a true baseball icon. Get tickets at HeindelCenter.org to see Cal Ripken Jr., 7:30 p.m. Thursday, February 22nd, at the Heindel Center for the Performing Arts on the campus of Northwest Mississippi Community College in Senatobia.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Sports 56 traffic brought to you by Curfew. Enjoy the ultimate dining experience at Curfew with specials every night. Mississippi Monday, Tuesday Ladies Night, Wing Wednesday, and Thursday Hotel Guest Appreciation Day. Curfew American Tavern Craft Cocktails, your new destination. 164 Union Avenue, main floor of the Canopy Hotel.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Wrapping up an earlier wreck at Austin P at Jones. Traffic still a little bit crowded over here on 240 westbound at Walnut Grove. It's busy coming across the bridge there on 40 East as you make your way over from West Memphis, all from that earlier wreck we had that's since been cleared, but it's still some lingering delays coming over from Crittenden County and West Memphis this morning trying to get to Memphis on 40 East across the bridge. Weimer's Jewelry at 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Don't you just love it?
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. Halfway home on this Friday edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Greg Gaston, Zach Boyd. Eli is off until Tuesday. He's with Ole Miss Baseball. Matt Dillon will join us in just a moment. We got 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. That'll be coming up a little bit later on in the show. Brandon Lang will also be joining us. James Gaddis Jewelers is the second hour sponsor of Sports 56 Mornings, and every Monday and Friday they bring you the Memphis Sports Fact. Did you know former Memphis Tiger and Cincinnati Bengals linebacker Curtis Akins has been hired to join the Tigers' defensive staff? Akins played for the Tigers from 2014 through 2018. I believe it was 3 seasons he played with the Cincinnati Bengals, now turning his attention to a coaching career. He's the third former Tiger to be hired this offseason for the Tigers coaching staff. That includes Reggie Howard, Lou Esposito, and now Curtis Akins. So welcome back to town, Mr. Curtis Akins. James Gaddis Jewelers, your family's jeweler at 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick. On the web at GaddisJewelers.com. They're your bridal, engagement, and anniversary jeweler headquarters. They've been serving Memphians and Mid-Southerners for a quarter century in that East Memphis location. Before that, they were located on Summer Avenue. So they've been around a long, long time. You want that one-on-one, that family atmosphere, that's what you get at James Gaddis Jewelers. Plus, great product. And they get it to you at a very reasonable price. They'll take care of that jewelry through the lifetime of that jewelry. You're looking for personally designed wedding sets, they got it. As I mentioned, engagement rings, wedding rings, whatever the case may be, beautiful watches, earrings, pendants, bracelets, necklaces. It's James Gaddis Jewelers. Time now for the Tiger Basketball Report.
It's time to talk Tiger hoops. It's the Tiger Basketball Report with Tigers radio analyst Matt Dillon. The Tiger Basketball Report is brought to you by Central Barbecue, La Guadalupana, Car Corner on Mount Moriah, Dave & Buster's, Coletta's, Ben Schwanger Glass, and Los Cabos on Summer Avenue. Now, here's Matt Dillon with Greg and Eli.
He is Tigers basketball radio analyst Matt Dillon, the professor who joins us each and every week. And Matt, all I could say is, oh boy.
Yeah, that's an understatement. Greg, I'm still stunned from a couple of things that happened last night. And, boy, when that start, they got down, I knew it was going to be a struggle, the way this thing was going. Last night, you saw a player absolutely just take over a game and dominate it last night. You know, we were speaking, of course,
Jason Edwards.
Their fine guard, Edwards, a first-team junior college All-American. He certainly lived up to the bill last night. What a game he had, man. He was popping those threes. And I thought, you're playing 10 in a row. I thought they were going to get 10 in a row in the first half, the way they were shooting. It was amazing. Greg, you think about it, you know, they didn't have any baskets inside for a long time. I mean, it was all threes. And that's exactly what they wanted to do. You know, they're a big pick-and-roll team. They basically junked it. And they went 5 out and stayed on the perimeter and spread the floor and shot threes. I guess when you have a guy as hot as, and of course his teammate Bugs was hot as well. So both those guys were bombing threes last night.
So I learned this in school: 3 is more than 2, and they certainly took advantage of it. After the game, I wanted to read you these quotes. John Bugs III, one of the players for North Texas, said Memphis was putting 2 on the ball a lot, and we expected that. Jason Edwards, the aforementioned Jason Edwards, said Mean Green head coach Ross Hodge told the team not to get surprised when they get repeated wide open looks, but Edwards admitted it's hard not to get surprised when it happens. So here we go again. Memphis struggling with their perimeter defense. They trap, they come over and help. Then they don't know what to do when the ball is kicked around to an open guy because there's a lack of communication. It reared its ugly head once again. Teams that aren't great three-point shooting teams are feasting on Memphis. 16 out of 28, 57%. You couple that shooting, which is 3, with the Tigers missing a bunch of threes and basically hitting 2s inside. 3 is more than 2. You're not winning the basketball game.
Yeah, you're not going to do that. You're exactly right. You know, the Tigers, they were trying to trap on the side and ice and do a lot of things to keep, from getting in their pick-and-roll offense. And, boy, when they handle the ball, I got to give them a lot of credit. They saw that trap coming. They were well prepared. They as soon as the Tigers started trap, that ball was reversed and went back around the perimeter. And there were times when guys were standing there, nobody within 10 feet of them, taking open shots. And these guys are Division I basketball players. They're going to hit threes. Some with being wide open like they were, and it was just not a great rotation. The thing I think on the defense last night, guys were coming in and out. Coach Hartle was trying to get some kind of rotations going, and some of the younger players got in, and boy, they got burned on defense. And I think that's something that you got to address. That you go with your older players who may be better defensively, or you stick some younger guys in there, and you got to kind of go with them and let them learn. But they just got great open shots, Greg. I mean, they just were nobody really contesting a lot. I mean, a couple of them were long, I understand, but when you get a guy at that level, a junior college All-American with his feet set, wide open, he's going to hit some shots, and that's exactly what they did. He set a school record last night with his threes. It was 7 as a school record, and then 16
is his record,
is the
right?
North Texas record. Yeah.
And Penny continues to say he's going to shorten his rotation. And then, as you just said, it's kind of like panic. He's looking for any combinations. He ends up playing 10 guys, and Young is still out, or it would have been 11. So he keeps going. Right. He keeps going back on what he says he wants to do. There's just seems to be confusion, whether it be the players out there trying to defend, whether or not what it is with him and what he wants to do with the rotation, and it's really burned the team a lot this year.
Yeah, it's tough right now. I mean, nobody's roles are almost. It's like when you first the year, you're kind of defining some stuff again. I believe, but anytime your top 2 scorers, and depending on them all year long, Quinterly and Jones don't have good offensive games. That puts a lot of pressure on everybody else. And I think some guys got in and said, "Hey, I got to do something here fast to try to get back to it." And I really believe, honestly, Greg, I think putting Jones on Edwards really wore him down last night. I thought it hurt him offensively a little bit. He was so, zeroed in on trying to stop him. I think it wore him down a little bit. That's really the first time I've seen him second half get gas. I mean, the last 3 he took, it took a right-hand turn on the way the basket.
It did, yes. It was ugly. They had a chance, too, right, Matt? They had about 4 or 5 opportunities in that last minute or so, and they weren't even close.
Exactly right. Yes. And they didn't take good shots.
Right.
Quinley took another one that was very questionable. Had a chance. And, when you're closing, you got to take good shots. You got to be in the context of the offense. They really got sped up, and everybody thought they had to do something quick. And they just did not get good looks at the end. And I thought they were going to come back and maybe have a chance to win because they were coming back and really putting a lot of pressure on North Texas. You got to give them a lot of credit. They're missing 2 of their better players, and you got to. Edwards is really not a point guard, and he only had 1 turnover last night in, 36 minutes, which I was surprised. I thought they were going to come after him. They tried to do it, and he handled it exceptionally well. So you got to give them a lot of credit. The crowd got into it. Not a big crowd, but once they saw what was happening, they kind of gave him a little bit of will. I thought, Coach Hardaway tried every combination he could. I think maybe Young being out maybe hurt defensively a little bit. He could probably maybe give Quinterly a blow and let him go over and take Edwards, but man, they got good looks and they moved the ball. That second and third pass, we talk about on broadcast all the time. They did it last night. They moved the ball. And when you look at their assist total, they only made 24 field goals, but 16 of them are assisted.
Wow!
So it tells you they moved the ball last night.
Tigers basketball report with Matt Dillon is brought to you by Binswanger Glass, Central Barbecue, La Guadalupana, Car Corner on Mount Moriah, Dave & Buster's, Coletta's, and Los Cabos on Summer Avenue. The Tigers have not been good in transitional basketball. For whatever reason, when they get fast breaking, They're looking for alley-oops. They're throwing the ball away. They're dribbling it off their legs. They're getting it deflected from behind. They have just not been crisp all season long when it comes to transition, and that's a big part of their DNA.
You're really right about that. Fast breaks last night, it was 27 in favor of North Texas. You're exactly right. You got to fill the floor correctly, and you got to take care of the ball. They throw passes that are, trying to make the spectacular play, and you just can't do that. And North Texas got back. That's one thing they try to do, and they got back on defense most of the night. But you're right, Greg. You got to handle the ball on the break effectively, and they have not been able to do that at times, and it really bit them last night because they should have been able to fast break his team. That's one thing they were working on in the shoot-around, trying to get the tempo up and getting fast break points. And, think about North Texas. They're going to try to turn you over, and then they're going to get the ball back and rebound. They're going to go in the half court. They're going to make you guard. And that's exactly what, the thing that I think they wanted to do, and they got their game plan and initiated. Tigers just could never get the tempo up the way they wanted. I thought the Tigers actually scored more points against them, but they didn't.
As you can imagine, it has been rough this morning. In fact, folks, when we wrap it up here with Matt in our final segment here in hour 2, I will have time to take your calls at 360-8255. Continue to read your texts. I can understand Tigers fans being upset, Matt, because, and I'm not sure if you agree or may not want to admit to it, and I understand if you don't, but to me and to many other people, they believe that was the nail in the coffin as far as an at-large, that now they're going to have to win the conference tournament to get into the NCAA tournament.
Well, I think it's going to be difficult. Yeah, when you look around, and everything else, the league for one, you got to get up in the standings. I never thought at this point UAB would be in front of the Tigers, South Florida. Charlotte. Some teams are,
right, they're
I guess, overachieving. Right. And it's late. There's not many games left right now. And I'm telling you, this game on Sunday is not going to be easy.
No.
This SMU team, I was looking at their statistics, Greg, and it's amazing. Now, let me give you a couple of quick things that are interesting about them. They're second in the league in fewest points allowed. That's 20 in the NCAA. They are a team that 29.1% they guard the three-point line, 15th in the NCAA. Their field goal percentage defense, 10th in the NCAA. They're a good rebounding team. Their margin of victory, the biggest in the league. Their team has number 1 in assists in the league. I'm surprised that SMU, in a way, maybe, has lost 3 games in the league, but they're playing consistent basketball right now, and he's really turned that around. Now, going in there, you've been there before. It's not an easy place to go into. This is the last time we're going in there to visit as a league member, and this thing's going to be juiced because they got a lot to play for now. You think about it now, they're looking at some things too. So that's the thing the Tigers are facing. Even Charlotte, they got something to play for now too. That's one of the things that's really going to be a tough thing to go to run the table here because you've got teams in front of you that are playing for something else too because this league's not going to get a tremendous amount of bids probably at large. So
no, that's a great point,
almost
Matt.
have to run it.
That's a great point. They're kind of in desperation mode. SMU last night goes to New Orleans, beats Tulane 87-79. Charlotte, which comes in Wednesday to play Memphis, they were at home, but they still took care of business, and that's what you have to do. They beat Texas San Antonio 79-70. Florida Atlantic doesn't look like the same team as last year, but certainly a capable team. They took care of business, beating Temple 80-68. It's all about taking care of business for the teams near the top of whatever the conference may be. And here's Memphis now losing again, falling to 7-5 in conference play, dropping to 7th in the conference, tied technically with North Texas, but North Texas now has the nod, having beaten them head-to-head. I don't know. It's the problems that have existed continue. They have not been fixed, and that's what's dumbfounding to me is to watch this team almost every game struggle with their perimeter defense and then also really with their ball movement. They hold on the ball too much and dribble, and that's when you get that one-on-one stuff. And when you have, as you alluded to, a night where David Jones and Javon Quinterly are not shooting the ball well, in fact, they were horrible, there's no way you're going to win the game. You're dead.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. And, dribble penetration, too, is another point. They really hurt them last night. And they didn't stay in front of their guards, either one of them, and that's something that really hurt. They drive and kicked it out, and there's open shots, and you look down and you see the teams in front of you. That's got to be corrected now. You're going to have to. That's pride. You got to want to get out there and do it. Greg, really maybe a little ball line defense where you got one foot in the paint and we can get out on the perimeter, because inside last night, really, they didn't do anything against the Tigers very much at all.
Right.
No inside points.
They didn't have to, right?
Right, didn't have to. You're bombing threes like that, I guess you don't worry about it. And I got to give one thing credit for North Texas. They realized they were hot. They put that 5 out, and they were going to shoot threes and live and die by it. And when you're hitting them, it makes you look pretty good.
Yeah, they stuck with their guys. These are well-conditioned athletes that are not pooped after 4 minutes of playing time. So it was a disappointing loss. Sunday will be a challenge, as Matt said, as the Tigers will take on SMU. We will do this again next week, Matt. Who knows what we'll be talking about? They will have already played SMU and then Charlotte, but we'll recap it next week on the Tiger Basketball Report. Matt, as always, I know it was a tough one. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your time, as always.
Thanks, Greg. I tell you what, it's going to be a big game on Sunday. Tigers really need to get this one.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks.
Oh, boy. The Tiger Basketball Report, Matt Dillon, brought to you by Los Cabos on Summer Avenue, Coletta's, Dave & Buster's, Car Corner on Mount Moriah, La Guadalupana, Central Barbecue, and Ben Swanger Glass. If you want to get a quick call in, we got an open segment coming up, 360-8255. Tigers or Grizzlies, 360-8255. You can call in or you can text in. We'll do that when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Napa Cafe celebrates 26 years in 2024. Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. If you're a first-time guest or have dined with us countless times, I want to thank you for making us part of your lives. Whether you're celebrating with the crowd or planning a cozy date night on the town, Napa Cafe can provide you an extraordinary evening. We have 5 dining rooms, including our private wine cellar, our Jan's room for 2 guests, and the Eleanor room for parties up to 60. Sit back, relax, and celebrate. Leave the cooking to us. Come see me at Napa Cafe, 5101 Sanderlin Avenue. We're open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. We also offer curbside pickup from our full menu. For details on our stay-in, dine-out menu or reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us as we celebrate 26 years of Napa Cafe in 2024. We can't wait to serve you.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
The President's Day sales event is on strong at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. How about 0% for 72 months on all 2024 Ram 1500 Bighorns? Yeah, 0 for 72 on 2024 Ram 1500 Bighorns. How about 8,000 off 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limiteds? We Gossett at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. And how about your new 2023 Dodge Charger 27,990? There's no reason to shop anywhere else. Get to Gossett on the Pike today. New 2023 Charger 27,990, 2024 Grand Cherokee Limited, 8,000 off and 0 for 72 on all 2024 Bighorns. So drive past the rest and come to the best Gossett on the Pike or shop online GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor
Cars! Charge PH 508-657, MSRP 35930, Cherokee PC 662620, MSRP 55760, includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax on license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Getaway Sports Bar, the best kept secret in town. Open noon to 1:30 a.m. 7 days a week. Garvin, the owner, created this SEC NFL Dream Bar over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 10 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Rack them up on 6 pool tables. Coldest beer in town. Grab you a pool stick and get you some good bar grub. 100% Angus burgers, big and moist chicken tenders. Daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. with long neck domestics, $2.25. Getaway Sports Bar, 4632 Winchester.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
To reveal the full spectrum of its dazzling color.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back. 360-8255 is our Sports 56 listener line. If you want to call in or text in right now on Tigers. If you want to squeeze in some Grizzlies, that's fine as well. Grizzlies had a great game last night. They shocked the Bucks. They were 14.5 point underdogs. But we've been talking a lot, obviously, about the Tigers and last night's 10-point loss at North Texas. Ken has texted in and said, hey, Greg, can you explain why it looks like Penny is hard to work for? He loses lead assistants every year. I think he doesn't listen to anyone. I think Stansbury can take this team at least to the second round of the NCAA tournament. Well, I don't know how hard he is to work with. There has been a revolving door when you think about some of the guys that have been here. Now, some have left on their own accord for jobs. You know, if you consider Tony Madlock, but Tony Madlock obviously is a close friend of Penny's. Cody Topper, not that longtime veteran guy, but he got a chance to go to LSU. But you had Larry Brown. Penny wanted Larry Brown right from the get-go. Didn't get him until, I think, the second year. But Larry Brown then in that next year left because of health reasons. So that's not really on any kind of, although it could be something in the relationship. I don't know. I'm not privy to that information. Sam Mitchell was one and done. Frank Haith was one and done, but he left for another job as well. Stansbury now. The bottom line is Penny's calling the shots. Sure, he's listening to his assistant coaches, but Penny is calling the shots. Let's make no bones about that. They may try to jump in and do this or do that and say some things. I've been to practices where others on the staff have certainly chimed in. But the buck stops with Penny. And therefore, I give Penny credit for taking the heat. He always says it's on him. Now, he says he's been saying it too much and talked about, he's got to get better. It's game 25 of his 6th season, right? So everybody's got to get better. He does take the blame himself, which is admirable, but it's still blame, and it's still losses, and it's still bad stuff. All right, let's go rapid fire, guys, so don't dwell too much here. Get to your point, we'll move on. Let's start with Dwayne. Hey, Dwayne.
What's going on? Hey, man, I'm going to ask you a question. What offense do we run?
They try to run some NBA pro set that there's no passing.
I mean, it's a process, one-on-one. It's hot pick, and everybody stands around until the play breaks down, and then, hey, chunk it up.
Then it's one-on-one.
And that's the problem with this team. There's no offensive structure. There's no identity at all. We got 55 guys, but we don't press until we get behind. It's ridiculous. I mean, the team that I knew from 3 years ago would be out the gate pressing.
Yeah.
They don't press anymore. They don't run a structured offense. He never have. If one for Davis last year, all that was one-on-one. But it just looked so good that the kid was just fantastic. And the problem with Penny is he has to get some structure.
I hear you, man. No, look, it's a perfectly sound point that he makes. There's a lot of dribbling going on. Watch these teams. Rice, North Texas, these teams that Memphis should be blowing out. Pass, quick pass, high screen pass, pick and roll, boom, pass, open three. That's their offense. That's more college-oriented. Memphis's offense is more towards the NBA. These guys aren't NBA players. David Jones has a chance, I think. That's it. I mean, they're not all going to the NBA. And, yeah, that's a good point about Kendrick Davis, who is NBA light playing in the G League, that he was the guy. Now, you had DeAndre Williams as well. It was a two it was a two-headed monster. But Kendrick Davis did a lot of that one-on-one, late in the shot clock, putting up a shot or dribbling it by his defender and getting to the hole. Carlo is next. Carlo, how are you?
Hey, how you doing? But I just had a phone call in right quick.
Sure.
But it's like you said, but you being a little modest, you said they playing like NBA. No, they're not playing like NBA. They playing like Mount Morale. When you go to Mount Morale, when you be picking like 4 guys to play 4-on-4, that's how they been playing. And they talking about this on Penny. I know he's saying this on him. No, it's not on Penny. It's on the players. See, those players came from those bigger name schools. They think, okay, we're going to go to this conference and we're going to run rough shots. But now they see it's a different ball game. You got to play team ball, team warrior. Can't no 1 or 2 players beat no on how sorry team is. If they playing team ball and you playing individual, you're going to get beat every time. We got to get back to what we used to do, play defense. Defense win games and championships. I'm out of here, guys.
Thanks, Carlo. No, you're right on. But here's the problem. I can give them the benefit of the doubt the first few games of conference play that you're trying to adjust. Maybe you don't take the guys as serious. They've probably read all the stories written about the conference with the 6 new teams and losing who they lost, Houston being at the top of that class. And then you take the guys for granted for a game or two. After that, then it has to be desperation mode that, okay, maybe we're not as good as we think we are, and maybe they're not as bad as we think they are. We have to step it up. And here we are, last night, game 12 of conference play, and they lose once again. Mike, how are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
It seems like we got a lot of rebounds slapped out of our hands. And they just did a lot of nothing wrong with it, but they just took balls away from us like we weren't very strong at all.
Memphis out-rebounded them, which has been a
problem.
problem
Well, I know
this
they
year.
out-rebounded, but they don't count when you get a steal from them. Or we gave up a whole bunch of, like I said, rebounds. We didn't hold on to the ball. I don't seem like to me the team's very strong.
Yeah, second chance.
What happened to the amoeba, whatever he called that offense? Because this pro thing is Penny's hard-headed. It ain't going to work in college.
He is very hard-headed. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. But to Mike's points about knocking the ball out of their hands, second chance points, Memphis outscored North Texas 15-11. Rebounds, Memphis out-rebounded them 37-33. Turnovers were 15-13 Memphis. Now, North Texas did get 20 fast break points. That is shocking. When you think about that, North Texas, the second slowest pace in Division I basketball out of 300 and whatever teams, 20 fast break points. Memphis, 7. Why so low for Memphis? Because do you watch them run the fast break? Do you watch them transition? First of all, a lot of times they don't have the ball in the right person's hands. You know, Malco's dribbling it up the court, or somebody who doesn't have the handles. David Jones doesn't even have great handles. You got to get the ball to Quinterly or somebody who actually can. And they don't have a lot of guys that are really good ball handlers, let's be honest. Then the awareness, the court awareness, having guys knock the ball out from behind them. They're a little bit out of sync when they run up and down the court, especially in transition. They have to settle down a little bit. And then when they get in their half court, they have to distribute. They have to pass the ball. But they don't. There's a lot of just gobbling it up and dribble, hopefully get a screen, go one-on-one. Greg is next. Hi, Greg.
Hey, how you guys doing this
Doing
morning?
okay, thank you.
I heard a caller last night after the game call in, and he made points about Penny's coaching style and what he's doing and what he's not doing, and maybe it's a time for a change at the coaching position, because no one coach, even though he's a favorite son, is bigger than the program, because the basketball team is a city's basketball team.
Yeah.
I thought about that, and I was leaning toward what he was saying, but then I gave it some real good thought, and I said, well, the portal is different. Today's basketball players are different. They think offense is what's going to get them to the pros. So they don't work on the fundamentals like they used to. They're a different breed of kid. And I look at coaches like Buzz down at Texas A&M. I know he's a good coach, but the material that he has to work with is just not what it used to be. Even Coach Cal, he's having problems getting these kids to play defense.
Mm-hmm.
And, so it's a sign of the times. I can't just put it all on Penny. But at the end of the day, everything you just said about what the Tigers don't do, it comes down to the coach, man. So either he's going to get lucky and get the material that he needs to run the kind of offense and play the kind of ball that he wants, or he's going to go through this year in and year out until he changes his way of coaching.
Gotcha.
I'm sad to say, and I hate to say this, I feel for Memphis and I feel for myself. It just don't look good this year, son.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate it. Yeah, have a good day. Listen, the genie's out of the bottle. That transfer portal thing is going to continue. But remember, it works for some teams because most teams go to the portal, some more than others. Somebody's got to win those basketball games. And to his original point about Penny, it's still the coach that makes the decision on personnel. So I think we're going to continue to see that. I think some years it may work, some years it won't. But as far as, the native son and that, look, if they don't get to the tournament this year, right, they don't get to the tournament, that means they don't win any tournament games. That would be one tournament win in 6 years. One tournament win in 6 years. And people getting on the case of Ryan Silverfield, they just won 10 games in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl game. But yet there'll be pressure next year, right, to get to the conference championship game. Because when the moves were made, when the expansion took place and the Big 12 took 3 of the schools from the American and the ACC took SMU. SMU's still there, but will be gone after this season. Everybody looked at it and said, wow, Memphis in football, along with Tulane, UTSA maybe, they should be the top. And then in basketball, absolutely Memphis, and at least right now for Florida Atlantic. We'll see if they have sustaining power, especially if Dusty May gets picked up by somebody. But it hasn't happened yet. Memphis football, hopefully for next year, because with the expanded 12-team playoff, that could mean an actual spot in the playoff, right? Playoff, yeah, it's possible. But there's a lot of criticism, even though they won 10 and won the AutoZone Liberty Bowl game. Whereas with basketball right now, if they don't get to the tournament, they can't win a game. That means just 1 in 6 years. Let me go to Kenny. Last caller here in this segment. Kenny, how are you?
Hey, good morning, man. How you doing?
Good morning.
This defense, I don't understand what they are seeing, that what they see and what we see.
Mm-hmm.
What I see is people getting wide open for shots. I mean, they break the press, and it's just like they're just wide open for open three. And they keep running the same defense. Why not run man-to-man, half court? You don't have a pressing team, not the entire game at least. And then play some zone.
Right. That's what I've been saying all morning
long. I don't understand what's so difficult about that. Now, on these expectations, we really have to throw these expectations out the window. This is not what we thought when we hired Penny from day one. I don't think anybody thought that after 6 years we would be talking about possibly one NCAA tournament win. So I guess the university – now, look, I'm a firm believer. I don't think they should make any kind of moves after this season.
No, and they won't.
They probably won't. But I'm sure they won't. But you're going to have a sit down and try to get some kind of plan on where this program is going and where this program should be. Because I know for a fact there's not another coach in this conference probably that makes half of what Penny makes. Most of them are at $800,000, $900,000, maybe $1 million a year. So the amount of money that we spend on basketball just in this conference, I'm not talking about a Power 5, I mean, it's far greater than anyone else. And we shouldn't be in 7th place at this time of the season.
I hear you, Kenny. Thank you, my friend.
I mean, it makes no sense.
I appreciate it. Good stuff. Good stuff from all our callers, all our texters. I know we have more text to get to. We'll do that in hour number 3. Before we do anything, though, Brandon Lang will join us to recap the Super Bowl. We'll have 10 in a row, give you a chance to win a great prize package, and then more on the Tigers and Grizzlies. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Chris Price, it's so good to see you. And you have a new business?
Yes, Dave. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Have you noticed water stains on your ceiling? With storm season here, take a walk around your home or business and look up. Make sure there are no water stains signaling a leak prior to the heavy storms coming in. If you do see signs of water, call me. My team and I will come out, diagnose the problem, and prescribe a fix. Our team of Hague-certified inspectors are waiting to assist with any inspection or repairs you may need. We have 3 crews dedicated to repairing roofs in the Mid-South. As certified Owens Corning and Mule High dealers, we offer 20-year, no-dollar limit labor and material warranties that offer hassle-free ownership. That's our hassle-free ownership guarantee. Allow Metro Builders team of professionals to assist you in maintaining your property's integrity and value. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Your local commercial roof experts. Ask about our commercial roof maintenance agreements. Protect your investment with MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Call me, 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. 375-1717.
Join the Heindel Center for the Performing Arts for an evening with Cal Ripken Jr. February 22nd and celebrate a true champion. Ironman Cal Ripken Jr. played 2,632 consecutive games for the Baltimore Orioles. This 19-time All-Star, 2-time American League MVP, and Baseball Hall of Fame inductee is a true baseball icon. Get tickets at HeindelCenter.org to see Cal Ripken Jr. 7:30 p.m. Thursday, February 22nd at the Heindel Center for the Performing Arts on the campus of Northwest Mississippi Community College in Senatobia.
Are you ready to start a rewarding career that's bigger than you? Join us on Saturday, February 17th, 2024 from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. for our hiring expo at the Memphis Police Academy, 4731 Academy Drive. Salary starts at $54,611, increasing to $72,000 after 3 years. If you want to serve the Memphis community, join the Best in Blue. For more information or details, visit joinmpd.com.
It's leap year, so jump into big savings at Gossett Kia on the Pike. New 2024 Kia Forte LXS gets 41 MPG, $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. How about 7-passenger seating? Get 2023 Kia Sorento LX, $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 2024 Kia Telluride LX, $459 a month, $34.99 due at signing. All 36-month lease, and don't forget, every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So call Bobby J to put you in a new Kia today. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online anytime at KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, Forte RE 722-812, MSRP 21,590, Sorento PG 242710, MSRP 33,010, Telluride RG 462-822, MSRP 38,705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/29/24 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Sports 56 traffic brought to you by Curfew.
Enjoy the ultimate dining experience at Curfew with specials every night. Mississippi Monday, Tuesday Ladies Night, Wing Wednesday, and Thursday Hotel Guest Appreciation Day. Curfew American Tavern Craft Cocktails, your new destination. 164 Union Avenue, main floor of the Canopy Hotel.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. There's still a couple of accidents in their clearing stages out here. A couple on Austin P Highway that was still being cleared. It's still busy over here at times 55, but it's moving up through South Haven as all that traffic flow comes in from DeSoto County. Still quite a bit of volume at times on 55 over from West Memphis coming across the bridge. It's because we had some problems earlier on the I-40 bridge or near it. That from that earlier wreck on 40 East again has been a little bit heavy coming over from West Memphis. 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services here in Memphis. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. Check them out at tomahawkcrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Good morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:05 the time. Our final hour this week here on Sports 56 Mornings, the Friday, February 16th, 2024 edition. Thank you all for all your calls and texts, and we'll continue to get some texts later on in the hour, maybe some calls if we have time at the end of the show. Greg Gaston, Zach Boyd, Eli is off. He'll return Tuesday. He's getting set to call some Ole Miss baseball as they open the season against Hawaii. They'll play tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday. And those games will be right here on Sports 56, 98.5 FM. Memphis Tigers will open up the Matt Reiser era with a 3-game series at Jacksonville State. Currently 53 degrees as it's clouding up and rain is on the way. Zach, look outside. Is it raining yet?
No.
Okay, but the rain's on the way. We're looking at a high of 64 today. 90% chance of rain, and it could be pretty serious rain at times with thunderstorms in the forecast. High gusts as far as the winds. Tonight, 30 degrees. Cloudy skies with a low near 30 degrees. The rain will be going away, and then tomorrow we're looking at a clear day, partly sunny, but the high only reaching 40 degrees. By the way, Cal Ripken Jr., we've given away tickets to his event at the Heindel Center next Thursday in Senatobia. We did that the last 2 days. We won't do that today because we have 10 in a row coming up later on in the hour. We got a great prize package to give away for that. But I will give away another pair on Monday, and I believe another pair on Tuesday. And make sure you listen to Sports Time on Sports 56. They've been giving away tickets as well to go see the Iron Man on Thursday, 1 week from yesterday, down at the Heindel Center in Senatobia. I was talking about the Grizzlies early on in the show, and why not? Last night, they wrapped up the pre-All-Star game portion of their schedule with a second straight win, and I'm still dumbfounded how that got done because they played a Milwaukee team that was basically the full roster with the exception of Chris Middleton. Giannis played, didn't think he would. Damian Lillard played. Memphis wins 113-110. Just incredible. They were 14.5-point dogs. Now, it got hairy in the end as Malik Beasley hit a couple of threes, made it a 3-point game, but Memphis gets the win as they are now 20-36. And then, of course, this morning, a note from the Grizzlies. I believe it was this morning. It may have came out yesterday, but I didn't say it. But just another injury. Scottie Pippen Jr., who was originally, I think, a 10-dayer, then became a 2-wayer. He got hurt in the February 12th game against the New Orleans Pelicans with low back soreness. A subsequent MRI revealed a bulging disc in his lower back, which will be managed conservatively with physical therapy. Pippen will be reevaluated in 3 weeks. So once again, even the guys that come in for 10 days or get 2 ways, they unfortunately have been banged up as well. A year in which the Grizzlies have already used 28 different players. But last night, with a starting lineup of Vince Williams, Santi Aldama, Trey Jemison, Zaire Williams, Jordan Goodwin, knocked off a team with Jay Crowder, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Brook Lopez, Malik Beasley, and Damian Lillard. And that's why, and I didn't play it. I don't play on Memphis teams. I don't gamble on Memphis teams. I do gamble, but not on Memphis teams. But that's why gambling is such an advantage for Vegas, the books, the bookies, because you never know. 14.5-point dogs, and Memphis wins the basketball game. So I'm not sure if Brandon's going to be joining us. Hopefully he will to recap the Super Bowl. That means we got an open segment. If you want to continue the Tigers conversation, you haven't had a chance to call in or to text in, you can certainly do so at 901-360-8255. That's 901-360-8255. Another text from the 901. I have been a University of Memphis fan for years. Disappointed in the season so far. Is it time to move on past Penny Hardaway? Again, it has been a question that has been asked, not just today, over the course of the last few weeks. Penny Hardaway is going to be given every benefit of the doubt. I've been to practices. I have had the privilege of being able to get over there. I know a lot of people aren't. I see him coach. I see what he's trying to do. The guy knows the game. I mean, let's make no bones about it. The guy knows basketball, and he knows how to coach basketball, but do the players know how to comprehend what he's coaching? And that's maybe not on the players themselves. I'm not saying the players aren't intelligent. Is it just too complicated in what they want to do when you play that style and it's more oriented towards the NBA and not college? I don't know. I'm just asking that question because you can't keep having games this late in the season where the coach is apologizing, said, I didn't have the guys ready, or he's also saying in the same breath, they didn't execute the game plan. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. They got SMU on Sunday. They got Charlotte coming in on Wednesday. Then Florida Atlantic a week from Sunday. I said yesterday, because I felt they would beat North Texas, I wonder how they'll do in these two games, and Charlotte on Wednesday, determining what kind of crowd they'll get against Florida Atlantic next Sunday, a week from this Sunday. That's the first of the two against Florida Atlantic. One will be the last game of the regular season, and that will be in Boca. But I wonder what the crowd would be. I thought, man, if they swept somehow, they would have a 6-game winning streak going into that one. I guarantee you that would be, if not the best crowd of the year, certainly the top two. You know, Clemson was huge. Virginia was pretty good. I think that would be a huge crowd. Now, I wonder, to beat SMU, to beat Charlotte, okay, it should be good, right? But they're still on the outside looking in my opinion. Still can win the conference tournament. I know you got to say that every time, right? I think we're legally obligated to say it. Right now, nobody believes that can happen. Right now, there's too much dysfunction going on the court. I don't know about off the court. I just know what I see on the court. And last night was the epitome. Struggles with their perimeter defense. Trapping is okay. I mean, if you want to certainly pick them up, full court press, that's fine. You want to quicken the pace because they were a slow-paced team, that's okay. If it's not working, though, you got to turn it off. You got to stop. And then when you're trying to play so much help defense, especially with their dribble drive penetration, it's going to leave guys open on the perimeter. And then there's a lack of communication in getting somebody out there to try to alter the shot. So they're getting open threes. And even teams that are mediocre or bad three-point shooting teams, you get an open three, you got a better percentage of making it. And they made 16. As Matt Dillon said when he was on for the Tiger Basketball Report, they set a school record for threes with 16, and Jason Edwards set an individual record with 7. He was 7 of 9. Nobody could stop that guy. Jason Edwards, 30 points. Raise your hand if you heard of Jason Edwards before last night. Not so fast, every single person listening to the show.
I ain't know he existed, to be honest.
That's what I mean. So this guy was the stud, whereas the Tiger stud, David Jones, and I'm not going to sit here and blame David Jones. While David Jones has had games where he's turned the ball over a bunch of times, David Jones is their guy. And he can have, unfortunately it was last night, but he can have an off shooting night. He had an off shooting night. How many of them has he had this season? That was maybe the only one. So, and then what did he do last night? He wasn't making shots. The guy went in there and got 16 rebounds. 6 offensive rebounds, 10 defensive rebounds. 16 rebounds. David Jones isn't 6'10". That's effort. So while he had a poor shooting night, really poor shooting night, and you're not going to win too many games when David Jones shoots 2 of 13, at least the effort was there. He makes all 8 of his free throws. He gets 16 rebounds. But it's tough to win when you give up 57% from 3, 16 made triples. When you turn the ball over 15 times, a bunch of them early when you fell behind, you were able to come back and take the lead. You were down 3 going into halftime. You were still in good position. They didn't have 2 of their starters. You still, even with that start, felt like Memphis was going to win that game. At least I did. Boy, was I wrong. And now you got to turn around and play a better team in SMU. Last night, as I mentioned earlier, Florida Atlantic won. SMU won in New Orleans against Tulane. East Carolina, which Memphis still has to play, beat Wichita State by 13. And Charlotte, who they play Wednesday, beat UTSA 79-70. There's nobody out there who follows the Tigers and cared to make any preseason predictions that had Memphis, I would say, any less than third place. And I don't even know if anybody had him third place. It was probably first or second, right? First or second. They're in 7th right now. And in these 6 final regular season games, there's some losable games. I thought Ken Pom and some of the other metrics had it wrong last night. Wrong team favorite. Nope. I was wrong. All right. We talked with John Varlas about last night's accomplishment by Caitlin Clark as she broke the NCAA women's scoring record. She actually has a chance to best Pete Maravich's record for men. All-time scoring list. Last night she scored 49 points at 13 assists. Iowa beat Michigan 106-89. She's a great story. And great for women's sports, women's basketball in particular. Speaking of that, speaking of women's basketball, the All-Star weekend is upon us, starting tonight with the Rising Stars game where Vince Williams will represent the Grizzlies. They didn't have to have a representative. He was at it, and that's fantastic for Vince. And then tomorrow, a lot of activity. You have the three-point, you have the dunk contest, you have the skills, you have the celebrity, and then you also have this Steph Curry, Sabrina Ionescu three-point shooting competition. I can't wait to see that because Steph Curry is going full throttle. Sabrina's a great shooter. I believe I'm right when I say I think she said she wants to shoot from the NBA three. Steph Curry's the greatest shooter ever, like in history. She's a great shooter. Steph Curry, I can't see him losing. I don't think this is a Bobby Riggs, Billie Jean King thing. By the way, yesterday, did you notice Klay Thompson came off the bench, I think, for the first time in his career and had a big game and Golden State won over Utah. Golden State actually finished the pre-All-Star game portion of their schedule pretty good. And right now, they would be in the play-in. I think they would be number 10. I'll look that up here. Long way to go in the NBA regular season, but we are well past the halfway point. And the Golden State Warriors, who look like they were DOA, are now number 10. They are 27-26, a game over 500. And like it or not, they've played better since Draymond Green returned. Utah's 2.5 games behind them. Then the Rockets are another game behind Utah. So Golden State moving up. Minnesota at the All-Star break, the leaders in the West. Oklahoma City second, game and a half behind. Clippers third, they're 2 behind. That's the team the Grizzlies will face on Friday of next week when they return to action. The Nuggets, the defending champions, are 3 behind in fourth, followed by the Suns and Pelicans tied, both 6 games out. Here's the difference between the East and the West. In the East, the team that is 10th, so they are in the play-in, the last team in the play-in is Atlanta. They're 24-31. They're 7 games under 500 and are 2.5 ahead of Brooklyn. So fairly comfortable. And Chicago's right ahead of them in 7th, or make that 9th, 26-29, 3 games under 500. Whereas in the West, the Lakers are 30-26 in 9th, 4 games over 500. Golden State 27-26, they're a game over 500, as I mentioned. Celtics best record in the NBA, 43-12, 6-game lead over Cleveland. Bucks 8.5 out, Knicks 10, Sixers 10.5 with Embiid hurt, and then the Pacers are 12.5 games out. I want to ask Zach some of these questions about this weekend's All-Star Weekend. We'll get his thoughts on who he thinks will be the winners in these events. So, Zach, let me start it off with the slam dunk. We have the defending champion who's in there. That's, what's his name? The white kid's name.
Matt McClung.
McClung. Is McClung going to defend his title?
I guess so.
You have who? I'm doing this off the top of my head. Obi Toppin?
No,
or is
it's
it
his brother, Jacob.
Jacob Toppin. You have Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
Until he gets hurt. No, God.
Oh.
I know. He's just injury prone. And then who's the other guy? Jaquez, right? Jaime Jaquez Jr.?
Yeah.
From the Heat. That's it. That's your slam dunk competition.
Not enough bounce in this competition.
There never is. Well, there was back in the day.
You know, for the surprising upset, I think Jacob Toppin has it. I think he has enough bounce to kind of do something crazy to where it's like, okay, like we got something going with it.
They're not jumping over Kias anymore. This ship has sailed. All
or
right.
jumping over model airplanes, you know.
Three-pointer. Who wins the three-pointer?
I forgot who's all in the three-pointer. I know Dame and Malik Beasley are in it.
Yeah, and
Brunson.
Malik Beasley last night nearly got Miami the win. They came back late, cut the lead to 3, but not enough as the Grizz won. He hit 2 big threes down the stretch. Of course, Lillard has to be at least a co-favorite to win that thing. Who else is in it?
So it's Malik Beasley, Jalen Bronson, Tyrese Halliburton, Damian Lillard, Lauri Markkanen, Donovan Mitchell, Karl Anthony Towns, and Trae Young.
Who do you like?
I'm feeling Markkanen.
Really?
I'm feeling Markkanen.
Who was the guy you said right after or before Brunson?
Right after is Tyrese Halliburton.
Halliburton. That's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Halliburton. All right, and then Steph, Sabrina.
Steph.
You're a male chauvinist.
That's what at the end, like that's the sad truth about this is like at the end of the day, like if you pick Steph, it's like, oh, you just don't think Sabrina doesn't have a chance. I think she do. I think she do have a chance. Well, like shooters shoot, that's the thing. But I think Steph is the greatest shooter on the planet.
Do you think she has a chance shooting from the NBA 3-point line when she's not used to that? And I think that's what she said she's going to do.
Because what? Because the WNBA is like a half a foot.
But it's different. And you know, I mean, it could be a little short, a little long. I don't think it'll make too much of a difference because shooters shoot. But
right.
Come on. Steph Curry, if he doesn't win, he's going to take a ribbon. She's very, very good. I understand that. I understand it. Don't tell me he's not going to take a ribbon from everybody in the damn league every time they run into Steph if he loses to her. Come on. Let's be honest here. It's still a man versus a woman. There's still going to be that. I hate to say it, but that is going to be.
But in this case, it's like, okay, cool. Like you can compare the skill because shooting is a skill. Like I would love to see like a skills competition with some of the WNBA players versus the NBA players. That's a skill versus a skill. Dunking, there's not a lot of women like doing 360 dunks
right
on a 10-foot goal.
Yeah, there are some things in some sports that they can compete. I mean, certainly, if you, golf, you would have to, you can't have 600-yard par fives, right? I mean, you have to dial back a little bit on the distances. But as far as, hitting golf balls, there's some great female golfers that can compete with men, certainly score-wise.
Oh, yeah.
If the environment is similar. Sports like bowling, certainly.
Yeah.
Because you're your individual. But tennis, and that's why the Bobby Riggs thing, it was great for women's lib and the women's sports movement and all that. Billie Jean King won. Billie Jean King was in her prime. Bobby Riggs was old. He still wasn't even that good anyway. He took it for granted. He screwed around. You're not going to get that with Steph Curry. He's going in there to win. Now, if you see Steph like putting blindfolds on and doing crap like that, that would be an embarrassment. It would be embarrassment to her. It's not going to happen. He's going in there to playing to win. She's playing to win. So I'm looking forward to that event. I am. All right, couple other things, and unfortunately, our man Brandon Lang not able to join us today. That's fine. We got 10 in a row coming up after the break. Tiger Woods, speaking of golf, yesterday, first round of the Genesis Open, the tournament that he hosts out in Los Angeles, 1/72. He dealt with back spasms. He bogeyed 18. He was par up until the 18th hole, shanked his tee shot, ended up bogeying it, and goes 1/72. This is one of those elevated events, no cut, but Tiger towards the bottom of the leaderboard. And again, those back spasms. I just have a feeling that, here's a guy trying to battle back from that horrific accident. It's going to be extremely tough for him to be competitive. That's why I said the other day, if Tiger Woods won an event, forget about a major, that would be nuts. I mean, heads would explode. But if he won a regular PGA Tour event, that would be huge. One of the biggest stories of the decade, of the century, because he is coming back from those horrific injuries. He's at, 48, 49, whatever the case may be. But this is what you're going to see a lot of, is Tiger Woods being inconsistent and then dealing with back spasms and things of that nature. Also, if you missed this news yesterday, Kansas City and the tragedy, unfortunately, that beset that great stage of the Super Bowl champions being honored in front of the estimated 1 million people in Kansas City, a city that is 2 million in population, including the suburbs. They estimated 1 million people there. Well, according to police, the mass shooting appeared to stem from a dispute. So it wasn't people going out there with assault weapons to just murder all these people. And at least that's what the police are saying. That, first of all, I don't know why you're bringing guns to a parade, a victory parade, but these people did. And 2 of the 3 suspects were juveniles. It makes you so sad. It makes you so sad. And then there's a dispute, and then it turns into shooting a bunch of people. I don't get it. It's horrible, but that was the latest. I told you I'd give you updated information when I had that. Unfortunately, that's what we know. Still, I believe, I haven't seen an update, just the 1 fatality, which is 1 too many. And there was 22 others who were injured. But the children that were in harm's way and unfortunately were shot are all doing fine. They're all going to survive. So that is absolutely terrific news. Okay, when we come back, we're going to play 10 in a row. We haven't played in a couple of weeks. It's a Super Bowl question. If you'd like to participate, jump on the Sports 56 listener lines right now at 901-360-8255, 901-360-8255. And then in our final segment, we'll dive back into the Tigers and the Grizzlies and all that good stuff, giving you an opportunity to call in or text in. I want to tell you, folks, about one of our great sponsors. That's Dinstall's Fine Candies and Chocolates. They have been a Memphis institution for 122 years. Wow, 122 years. Hopefully you took advantage of the Valentine's Day specials, our Sports 56 specials, bought your loved one a delicious box of chocolates from Dinstall's. Now, it has been launched. It's official. The chocolate-covered strawberries are available to you. Fresh, ripe berries dipped in their special fondant, then enrobed in rich milk chocolate. Go and head on over to one of their 5 locations or call them and order your chocolate-covered strawberries today. Remember, you can have any of these fine candies shipped anywhere in the country. Just ask Dinstall's about their shipping opportunities. You can place your order, as I mentioned, or just stop by and pick up the delicious candies at Laurelwood, Germantown, Collierville, Pleasant View, or downtown Memphis. It's Dinstall's. They've been saying, I love you, and putting smiles on people's faces for over 122 years and counting. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with 2 of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Five Ash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Shop, compare, and save from hundreds of experts to turn your dream home into a reality. We have everything to help you remodel, refresh, and beautify your home inside and out. So come on out to the Home Show of the Mid-South, February 16th through the 18th at the Agri Center. You'll find special show pricing on kitchens, baths, patios and landscaping, flooring, cabinets, windows, roofing. It's all at the Home Show of the Mid-South, February 16th through the 18th at the Agri Center. For more info, visit memphishomeshow.com. That's memphishomeshow.com.
It's leap year, so jump into big savings at Gossett Kia on the Pike. New 2024 Kia Forte LXS gets 41 MPG, $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. How about 7-passenger seating? Get 2023 Kia Sorento LX, $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 2024 Kia Telluride LX, $459 a month, $34.99 due at signing. All 36-month lease, and don't forget, every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So call Bobby J to put you in a new Kia today. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online anytime at KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, Forte RE 722,812, MSRP 21,590, Sorrento PG 242710, MSRP 33,010, Telluride RG 462,822, MSRP 38,705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/29/24 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Hi, fellas. I'm Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers. Christmas and Valentine's Day have come and gone, and at some point you have to make your favorite lady happy on her anniversary or her birthday. At Russell Brothers, we've been helping Memphis men for over 38 years do just that. When a gift-giving occasion arises, we're here to help you. Magnificent diamonds and exquisite gemstones are our forte, and you can find them set in stunning rings, beautiful necklaces, shimmering bracelets, or perhaps an elegant pair of earrings. The possibilities are endless, and at Russell Brothers you can always know that if you surprise her and she'd rather have something else, we're happy to exchange or refund your money within 30 days because we know you don't always hit a home run. Beauty, value, quality, and service are the things that set Russell Brothers apart from other jewelers. Come see us at Russell Brothers Jewelers. Let us help you say you're the best to that wonderful lady in your life. Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Napa Cafe celebrates 26 years in 2024. Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner. Maybe start with an appetizer like our baked sweet peculiar peppers stuffed with goat cheese and mozzarella, finished with basil pistou, and move on to one of our cozy dishes like the double chocolate stout braised boneless beef short ribs with tonkatsu sauce and creamy mashed potatoes, or a fresh seafood dish like our pan-roasted ginger buttered sea bass with cilantro soy vinaigrette. I get hungry just talking about it. Don't forget about dessert, our famous sweet buttermilk pie with brown sugar sauce, or drink your dessert with one of our signature dessert cocktails, like the lemon cheesecake martini, lemony, icy, frothy, and dusted with graham cracker crumbs. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us as we celebrate 26 years of Napa Cafe. We can't wait to serve you.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Good morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. Final 25 minutes or so. We got 10 in a row coming up in just a moment. A couple of other texts on the Sports 56 listener lines. One positive because they're talking Grizzlies. The other negative because they're talking, unfortunately, about Tigers basketball. Gritty Grizzlies, completely undermanned as a massive underdog and still beat an elite Milwaukee team last night in a hell of a game. Absolutely. That's one, again, you walk away going, oh my gosh, it's not just A for effort, right? Moral victory. They beat the Bucks. They beat Giannis and Damian Lillard. They beat them. They beat them with a bunch of guys, some of them you've never heard of, who played out of their mind. Gigi Jackson with 27 points in 30 minutes. Zaire with a career-high 27 points. Vince Williams, 18 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists, will be in the Rising Stars game tonight. That's the silver lining of this season, is that they have found definitely two guys that'll be in the rotation next year. Vince Williams, G.G. Jackson. G.G. Jackson will be a starter with this team one day. Who knows what they want to do with Vince coming off the bench. But these guys are in the rotation next year with a full arsenal, with the assumption that everybody's back and healthy. Ja's back. Dez is back. Of course, Jackson. Do they keep Kennard? What's going to happen with the center position? All that, though, taken into consideration, those two guys have earned their way. Unbelievable win last night by the Grizzlies. Let's see. Bucks, they would come into the grindhouse and cruise to a win and got it handed to them. Yeah, maybe Bucks thought they would do that. When you look at this Grizzlies team and these players that, some of the guys on the opposing team, Milwaukee in the case of last night, Houston the night before, are probably looking at these dudes like, who are you?
Yeah. Also, can I give a shout out?
Yes.
To one of the players.
Yes.
One of the newcomers. Shout out to Lamar Stevenson, man.
Lamar Stevens.
Excuse me. Lamar Stevens. Like, he was buried at the end of the Celtics bench.
Mm-hmm.
Not getting any playing time. You unfortunately you had to trade Tillman to Boston to end up getting him, but you end up picking up 2 second-round picks as well. And now that he's been with the team for at least these 3 games, he had to guard the likes of Zion Williamson, Alperen Şengün, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he has fared up well. While offensively, he has not been a liability. So shout out to him.
Well, it's a good shout out. Now, they didn't make the trade to get Lamar Stevens. Lamar Stevens was the throw-in to make the trade happen. They were getting rid of salary with Xavier Tillman because they were going to dump Stevens at the end of the year. Is there a chance they could sign Stevens? Maybe, but remember, he would take up another roster spot. There has to be a roster spot for the lottery pick that they're going to have unless they trade the lottery pick. And then you would imagine that they're going to also go out there and get a center of some sort. Now, they may take a center in the draft, but they may also trade for one because it would be kind of a tough situation for a rookie center to all of a sudden be thrust into a starting lineup with the Grizzlies or any other NBA team. And they could go Jaren Jackson at the 5. I don't think that would be the way that they would go. I don't think that would be the move I would make. That's just my opinion. I think he's better suited as a power forward. But those are 2 roster spots I think they have to have open. Remember, Yuta Watanabe, who, by the way, is a cool dude. He's not good. He's just not good. And he has a player option for next year. So if he exercises that player option, he's back. That takes another spot. So all of a sudden, you're logjam with these spots. Could they trade over the summer? Conchar, Zaire, could they make those moves with LaRavia? Yeah, they could. It depends on who wants them and what they can do financially. But you're right about Stevens. At least in the few games he has been here, he's impressed. He's done some good things. I would doubt very much that he'll be a part of their future, but I think it's a very worthy shout-out by Mr. Zach Boyd. Here is the negative text talking about the Tigers. 6 years, 1 conference championship, 2 at-large bids, and unlikely to get a third this season. 1 tournament win, that's NCAA tournament win. Is that good enough for a team like Memphis? How much longer will we put up with Penny treating this like a hobby? Now, I can tell you this. Any other coach, certainly 6 years, 1 tournament win, they would be looking to make a change because it is Memphis basketball. But that's not happening here. Hopefully, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore because it just doesn't look good for this year to rattle off a bunch of wins. Even if they do, they're probably still on the outside looking in. They beat Florida Atlantic twice, win all 6. How does anybody believe that they can do that? I mean, I think they're probably going 3-3 in their last 6. Can they win the conference tournament? Yeah, maybe, but there's 6 teams ahead of them. They have struggled with those teams. It's just not good. Will he get a 7th year? He will get a 7th year. Undoubtedly get a 7th year. Will he use the portal? Yes, he will use the portal. I think they have 1 signed player and whoever's coming back. David Jones isn't coming back. He's going to the NBA. I think he'll be a 2nd-round pick, even though he does have a year of eligibility left. Did want to mention this. Wichita State played last night at East Carolina. It's not been a good Wichita State season. But Mike Kennedy, their play-by-play guy, has seen a lot of good seasons at Wichita State. Mike Kennedy missed the game last night after a cancer diagnosis. It's the first game the guy has missed in 44 years. Think about that. 44 years, the voice of a team, and you didn't miss a game. All the things that happen in your life personally, illnesses, health, travel, even though you're traveling with the team more than like just anything. And the guy didn't miss a game. So hopefully it is more of a positive. Nothing's positive about cancer, but more of a positive where he'll be able to beat this thing and fight it and beat it, defeat it. But Mike Kennedy, again, missing his first game after 44 years. Wow. All right, when we come back, we're going to do 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. Read your texts and maybe squeeze in a call or two to wrap things up. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue for lunch or dinner today, this weekend, or anytime is a great option. You can dine in at either the Poplar Avenue in Memphis location, which is my go-to in East Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, which was my old go-to, or Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Yes, I've been eating Corky's for a long time. They've been making their delicious slow smoke barbecue for a long time. How about 4 decades? And they have specialized in catering. Let them come to your location, set it up for you, start you out as low as $8.99 per person. Lunch specials every day, party packs that start at $7.49 for that delicious Q. You can also grab yourself an award-winning catfish plate if you don't feel like barbecue a particular day. They have great hamburgers and tamales. There's other options, but of course they specialize in barbecue. Pick up a Corky's gift card while you're there, and also reserve their private party room. You got a graduation date already set. Somebody's graduating later this spring, or anniversary, get together, little birthday party celebration. Go ahead and have it at Corky's. You can reserve their private party room at either the Cordova or the Olive Branch location. Just give them a call. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hey, this is Eli Savoy, and I've got a question for you. Who wants to pay full retail for a pre-owned car or truck when you can buy it at wholesale? Wholesale Unlimited on Pleasant View, right off Covington Pike, has an unlimited selection of super sharp pre-owned cars and trucks you can buy at the wholesale price. And right now, you can use your tax refund as all or part of a down payment and still just pay the wholesale price. Chevy Silverados, F-150s and Ram trucks, Tahoes, Explorers, Jeep Wranglers, Grand Cherokees, Renegades, a Cadillac SRX, Camaros, Mustang convertible, Hyundais. Check it out. Go to wucars.com or Google Wholesale Unlimited Memphis. This is great. Your money goes a long way when you can buy at the wholesale price, and tax refund time makes it even better. Go to Wholesale Unlimited on Pleasant View, just off Covington Pike, with guaranteed approval. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports 56, and you can thank me later.
When a cold keeps you up, try NyQuil Severe Honey Flavor. The nighttime, sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever, Honeylicious, best sleep with a cold medicine. Powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a dreamy honey taste to give your body the rest it needs to get that cold gone. Wake up refreshed, feeling relieved after enjoying the delicious flavor of NyQuil Severe Honey. NyQuil Severe Honey Flavor, use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
When you think about insurance and you want great value without sacrificing great service, I want you to think one place: the Eflin Insurance and the entire Eflin Insurance team. Matt and his group of professionals will access 10 leading companies to find the right home and auto program that fits your budget and your absolute needs. The Eflin Insurance team, the number 386-GER, 386-4777.
How many times have we said that Bell Tavern, Memphis's perfect bar, is not a sports bar? Granted, much of the year, sports are one of the main attractions at any bar. But at Bell Tavern, a great time can be had without having to keep checking the score. It's a slow time of year for sports, but it's never a slow time of year to go to a great bar with the perfect atmosphere, coldest beer, and the nicest people you're likely to meet. Chances are, even if you're a huge sports fan, when you leave after a visit to Bell Tavern, you'll be surprised to realize you never thought about them once. You were having too good a time at Bell Tavern.
The President's Day weekend sale is here at Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. Don't miss incredible deals like 20% off used clubs, 30% off select apparel, and get custom fit on the new TaylorMade QI10 drivers. Book your free custom fitting online today. Swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf for the President's Day weekend sale, or shop us online at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
So you're thinking about getting engaged. Well, let me tell you something, guys. Here's a little secret. There's about 10 premier bridal designers out there that every woman knows about. You probably don't, but the woman does. They're quality names when it comes to engagement rings, like Tacori and Varangio. And these designers are hard to find. They're hard to get. Every jewelry store wants them, but very few make the cut, so they have to settle for lesser brands. Around here, the only store that offers these rings, it's Genesis Diamonds. They're the only one that made the cut, that meets the highest standards. So when it comes to buying an engagement ring here in Memphis, get on over to Genesis Diamonds. They've got the top quality designer rings, some for under $2,000. It's not about price. It's about craftsmanship. It's about quality, detail, individuality. Don't compromise. Don't settle. Get a world-class ring that she'll be proud to wear. Genesis Diamonds, Poplar and Perkins Extended. Also home of the state's largest selection of pre-owned Rolex watches. That's Genesis Diamonds, Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings. Morning. On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. Hey, Zach, why don't you cue up the band? It's time for 10 in a row.
Not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, but 10 in a row.
Gotta love the Sports 56 singers. That Glee choir is fantastic. It is time for 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. If you'd like to participate, you need to do so now. Jump on the Sports 56 listener lines at 901-360-8255. The question, NFL head coaches who have coached in 2 or more Super Bowls. NFL head coaches who have coached in 2 or more Super Bowls. They don't necessarily have to have won. All they had to have done is coach in 2 or more Super Bowls. NFL head coaches who have coached in 2 or more Super Bowls. That's the question. If you'd like to play, 360-8255. Here's what you're playing for. Going to give you a $25 gift card to Sunrise. Fantastic breakfast and lunch. $20 to the Crazy Coop for the best wings in town. 2 Malco passes to enjoy at your leisure anytime at any of the Malco establishments. And 2 free haircuts from Supercuts. That's all on the line for the winner of 10 in a row. Again, the question, NFL head coaches who have coached in 2 or more Super Bowls. Jump on the Sports 56 listener lines right now as we wind down this Friday edition of Sports 56 Mornings. We begin with our buddy Mario. Mario, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on? What's up?
Here you go. Let's see if we can get a winner right off the bat. John Harbaugh.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Mario goes down on the first one, but he ain't afraid. He don't mind being a guinea pig. We need another one for list number 2. 360-8255, 901-360-8255. NFL head coaches who have coached in 2 or more Super Bowls. That is the question. We go to Dave. Hi, Dave.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well. All right, here we go. List 2. Mike Tomlin.
Yes.
Doug Peterson.
Yes.
360-8255 is the numbers. We play 10 in a row. NFL head coaches who have coached in 2 or more Super Bowls. We go to Anthony. What's going on, Anthony?
Let's try.
John Harbaugh.
No.
Dick Vermeil.
No.
360-8255. Not doing too well. Open phone lines right now if you'd like to play. NFL head coaches who have coached in 2 or more Super Bowls. We go to Andre. Dre, what's going on?
What's going on?
Mike Tomlin.
Yes.
Doug Peterson.
No.
John Fox.
No.
360-8255. We forget about Foxy, don't we? Next up is George. Hi, George.
Hey, I'll try it.
John Harbaugh.
No.
Dick Vermeil.
Yes.
Brian Billick.
No.
Tony Dungy.
Yes.
360-8255 is the number. Next up is Sean. Hi, Sean. Sean, you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. Mike Tomlin.
Yes.
Doug Peterson.
No.
John Fox.
No.
360-8255. We've missed twice now on Foxy. NFL head coaches who have coached in 2 or more Super Bowls at stake. $25 to Sunrise, $20 to the Crazy Coop, 2 Malco movie passes, 2 free haircuts at Supercuts. Next up is KC. KC, how are you?
What's going on?
Not too much. John Harbaugh.
No.
Dick Vermeil.
Yeah.
Brian Billick.
No.
Tony Dungy.
No.
Tom Coughlin.
Yeah.
John Gruden.
No.
Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
Sean Payton.
No.
Marv Levy.
Yeah.
Mike McCarthy.
No.
There's your winner. Good job, KC. We're going to put you on hold. Congratulations, my friend. KC is a winner of 10 in a row. Zach will get your information. The second list. You mind playing, Zach? You want to play on this one? You or Bryant? Ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Second list. Mike Tomlin.
Yes.
Doug Peterson.
No.
John Fox.
No.
He's a yes.
Oh.
Everybody missed on John Fox. Gary Kubiak.
No.
Bill Walsh.
Yes.
Vince Lombardi.
Yes.
Bruce Arians.
Yes.
No.
No?
Just the one with Tampa Bay.
Okay.
Dan Reeves.
No.
Yes. Joe Gibbs.
Yes.
Sean McVay.
Yes.
Yes, there you go. That's 10 in a row. Congratulations to our winner, KC. We'll do it again next Friday.
That second to last guy, I didn't know who he was. I didn't know he was
I
a
knew
head
you
coach.
didn't. I knew you didn't. Most of the names on the list are recognizable names. John Fox was with, Carolina and Denver? I think, if I'm not mistaken. So last night, we talked earlier about the great moment in Iowa for Caitlin Clark. She became the NCAA all-time leader in scoring for women, but she's also not far off from Pistol Pete Maravich. Now, think about Pete Maravich. They didn't have a three-point shot. The points that he would have had, unbelievable. But Caitlin Clark, fantastic. They win 106-89. That was the good from women's basketball last night. Here was the bad from women's basketball last night. There was an absolute brawl, Donnybrook, melee between Arkansas State, our friends from Jonesboro, and Southern Miss, coached by former Memphis women's coach and a friend of mine, Joy Lee McNellis. I had a chance to call the Memphis Southern Miss game earlier this year with Coach McNellis. It was great to see her. She doesn't condone this kind of stuff. 5 players and 3 fans were ejected in this melee. The skirmish caused a 23-minute delay in the second quarter as officials had to try to determine which players would likely be tossed from the game. The fight began when Arkansas State forward Emma Amevbor grabbed a defensive rebound in traffic, got tangled with Dominique Davis. Amevbor appeared to push Davis to the floor and then appeared to throw several punches at Brakayla Gray in front of the Southern Miss bench. So, first of all, throwing the punches is a no-no. Doing it in front of the opposing team's bench, that's a real no-no. Southern Miss forward Asia Leak, who was on the bench at the time, appeared to jump in with several other players and pulled her to the floor by her neck. Southern Miss assistant coach Jessica Barber was knocked over by the fight, was seemingly stuck beneath the pile. The fight finally winded down. Several fans then came down from the stands, and they got involved. In the end, Southern Miss They lost 4 players were ejected for Southern Miss, 1 player for Arkansas State, and 3 fans were ejected. And Southern Miss ended up winning the game with all those players ejected, 57-48. So what does that prove? That crime does pay. No, I'm kidding. They just a better team, and they beat Arkansas State. So there you go. Folks, that will do it for us this week here on Sports 56 Mornings. Thank you so much for listening, your calls, your texts. Always appreciate it. Shout out to our terrific guests, John Varlas, Joe Theismann, and Matt Dillon for joining us on the program today. Eli's off again on Monday, so I got a couple of guests lined up for Monday, including Eric Vickery. Eric Vickery is an author who wrote about has written about the 1982 World Champion Cardinals. It's a book I think that just came out. We'll talk to him about that. I believe Tim Buckley will join us for the Daily Memphian, Matt Infield from Action News 5. We will have a lot to recap. NBA All-Star Weekend, including the All-Star Game coming up on Sunday, the Great American Race on Sunday, the Daytona 500, and then, of course, the Tigers. Unfortunately, with their tiger tail tucked between their legs, will go from Denton to Dallas to try to figure it out, taking on a very good, or at least solid, SMU team. Dave Woloshin is not going to be with us next. Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 will, however, with Brian Dacus pinch hitting for Dave, along with Zach Boyd. So for Eli Savoy, who will rejoin us on Tuesday, for Zach Boyd, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you on President's Day.